In the words of one Winston Churchill, to improve is to change, to be perfect is to change all. From the earliest assembly lines to cutting-edge robotic systems, the continually evolving supply chain technologies are shaping the present and the future. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Vanshika.
And I, Sonal, would like to extend a warm welcome to all and sundry to Ashwamedh 2023, the flagship event of XOPS, the Operations Committee of Xavier Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar. Ashwamedh is a unique industry-focused business school seminar which brings together eminent personalities from a diverse range of backgrounds with an aim to stimulate discussion and contemporary issues related to operation management and related areas. Before we start, it's an honor to present you the trailer for the highly anticipated Ashwamedh 2023. Get ready to dive into a world of innovation, inspiration, and limitless opportunities.
Wars can be terrible for supply chains. There can be disruptions, shortages, all kinds of challenges. Imagine 25% of the global supply disappearing overnight.
Global tensions over the unprecedented Chinese exercises mount. Experts now raising the red flags about how these threats will be disrupting the world's business.
Minister Narendra Modi has unveiled the government's National Logistics Policy 2022.
Lamp lighting ceremony as a tribute to Goddess Saraswati. I would like to invite the honorable speakers and the moderator of the event, Professor Arun Paul Sir, to light the lamp.
The landscape of supply chain management continues to evolve, ultimately allowing suppliers to operate more effectively and efficiently across the globe. In some ways, the improvements made are in response to the recent developments in supply chain management, and in others, organizations are working to make improvements in anticipation of future events and the world of commerce in general. To align to the same thinking and viewpoint this year, we would like our eminent speakers to impart their views views on the theme, creating sustainable e-commerce, innovations in last-mile delivery and reverse logistics, and share their thoughts and experiences with the same. We, on behalf of the whole XIM XUV fraternity, are honored to have this esteemed panel of speakers and delighted to have our faculty members, media partners, and fellow students present with us today.
Now, we request our dear speakers to kindly accept a token of appreciation. I request Abhinipsa to welcome Mr. Devendra Makkal, Country Lead Operation Management System at DHL Supply Chain with a token of appreciation. Now, I request Saurabh to present a token of appreciation to Mr. Raju Sir, Business Head and Senior Vice President, Third Party and Contract Logistics at All Cargo Logistics Limited. Now, I request Arpit to present a token of appreciation to Mr. Shivani Prasad, Vice President and Global Head of Business Development at Zootos. Now, I request Abhinay to welcome Mr. Partha Roy, co-founder of Astro, a technology, sales and advisory firm specializing in telecom and conference solutions. Lastly, we would like to present a token of appreciation to Professor Arun Paul Sir, our moderator of the event.
Before we call our guests to share their journey, I would like to invite the audience with the flow of event and some basic hygiene instructions. We will first have a moderator, Professor Arun Paul Sir, to present an introductory notes and comments. Then we will have our speakers share their experiences one by one, and after all the speakers are completed, we will have a panel discussion and then open the floor for the audience to ask questions. We will then have the concluding remarks by the moderator, followed by the vote of thanks by the coordinator. So, without any further ado, I would like to introduce our moderator for the day, our esteemed Professor Arun Kumar Paul of Operations Management and Decision Sciences at XIM. He is currently the coordinator for Management Development Program and also for the Student Affairs and Disciplinary Committee of XIM. Professor Paul has over 27 years of industry experience from starting his career as a design engineer and moving up to the level of project manager in capital projects for the Tata Group of companies. He has extensively worked with experts from McKinsey on improving OPEX and CAPEX excellence. Professor Paul has published several chapters in edited volumes, research papers in highly referred and high impact factor journals, such as International Conference on Digital Economy, Green Initiative for Business Sustainability and Value Creation, Critical Change Project Management, and many more. So, we request you to join us on the stage and present your thoughts on the thing.
Okay, good morning everybody, respected speakers, my faculty colleagues, the students, team experts, and the staff who are working in the background to make this success. Welcome to this event. For the benefit of the speakers, I'd like to elaborate that we have about 12 plus students managed committees on various aspects. Those committees are entirely managed by students, maybe moderated by faculty council. Otherwise, the budget, the activities, all are managed by the student committees. And it is an important part of their management journey, management education journey that they have in 2 years. So XOPS is one such committee, which is from the functional committee, and that includes the operation management and business sciences, combined area that we have. Like finance, we have another area and another committee. So this is one event that is organized by XOPS team, and we are here to listen and learn in the process on a very important thing, that is creating sustainable e-commerce innovation, last mile delivery, and reverse logistics. And obviously, the terms are interrelated. E-commerce, e-business will possibly take it kind of together. And as the experience goes, from the customer's point of view or consumer's point of view, the last mile delivery is very, very important. And that's where possibly maximum move up can happen, or you can have a very enhanced experience. And talking about sustainability, the reverse logistics, the reverse flow, the closed loop supply chain are very, very important. Supply chain as a subject, we teach them as an elective, and that is just going on, term 5. And then on term 6 also we have another advanced supply chain as an elective. Otherwise, I think the audience is mostly first year, whose first term just ended. So the audience will possibly know very basic about supply chain management, the first year students. But nevertheless, this is a very important topic, and it's very relevant also. And as we struggle to understand the impact of the global warming and the issues around it, the sustainability is very, very important. And any business is finding its supply chain. The cliche you have heard this, that the competition is not between business to business. It is between or amongst the supply chains. And the business that we win or flourish is whose supply chain is best in many terms. So that's how it is. So with this, I would expect the speakers to introduce themselves and tell their life stories as they make their presentation. I know they have sent the presentation PPT back, which is, I think, loaded here. All the PPTs are loaded here, I believe. Yes? Yeah, okay. So as the speakers speak, I would expect them to sort of bring their life stories around, and that will be good learning for the budding managers here. And after you have listened to all the speakers, 25 to 30 minutes each, towards the end, we'll have a question and answer sessions where the audience may ask questions, raise hand, the mics will go around, and the audience will introduce himself or herself and then ask a question to a specific speaker or to the panel in general. And after the answer happens, others can add also. And we propose, and I think that will end by 1 or 15 kind of thing with the board of hands. So in this, I request the first speaker to come to stage. There's something else to go.
Now, we would like to introduce our first speaker for the event, Mr. Raju Sir, Business Head and Senior Vice President of Third Party and Contract Logistics at All Cargo Logistics Limited. Sir has 39 years of rich experience in the field of strategic planning and management, business development, port operations, CFS, terminal operations, and warehouse operations and strategic management. Sir has served several companies like CCI Logistics Limited, Gateway District Parks Limited, Express Ocean Terminal, DHL, Swift Freight, etc. in India and abroad. Sir believes in interacting and imparting his expertise to young business minds and is currently associated with educational institutions like IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Mumbai, Indian Institute of Materials Management Chennai, XIM Bhubaneswar, to name a few for the guest lectures. Sir has received recognition for his outstanding work from prestigious institutions like Institute of Supply Chain Management Mumbai, Indian Institute of Materials Management Delhi. Let's join our hands in welcoming Raju sir.
Very good morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. The chairman, sir, for this session, Professor Paul, the dignitaries present here from the Management Institute, other professors, other faculty heads, various student committees, my fellow speakers, and distinguished guests. It's always been a pleasure for me whenever I'm invited to speak at XIM. I do not mention anything about my experience, but I just say that I'm a supply chain management student, learning from all of you, interacting from all of you, because I believe in the maxim that education and knowledge assimilation has no end. So when the person introduced me as a person having 39 to 40 years of experience, I was just thinking to myself, do I need to end over here or do I continue? However, the love and affection shown by many of the students yesterday, Professor, I arrived yesterday evening and immediately there was a whole group of students interacting with me on supply chain management, sustainability, digitization, etc. I said, look friends, this is the very topic that we're going to discuss tomorrow. So do you want me to really speak about it today itself? So that's the love and affection shown by the students of this institute, and I've been associated with them for the last 4 to 5 years, having participated in Ashwamedh some time back, and then having been involved in giving immersion lectures as far as warehousing, supply chain management, port operations, logistics, etc. is concerned. Back to the topic. If you really go across the topic, it's pretty interesting. It has a lot of hidden meanings within the topic. So I really applaud the team that really set up this topic. On one side, we are talking about sustainable warehouse or sustainable e-com. Now, the moment we say e-com or e-commerce, it basically means a fulfillment center, a sortation center, and a delivery hub. All these three together make the e-com warehouse. So, unless and until you have the e-com warehouse which is sustainable and is moving as per the current trend, you cannot take care of your reverse logistics or your last mile delivery. Because, as Professor was mentioning right now, he gave an example how important last mile delivery from a sustainable or non-sustainable warehouse or an e-com fulfillment center, the importance of last mile delivery cannot be repeated again and again. The e-com warehouse basically came into existence because of the love and affection again for all the younger generation who wanted to get their electronics, get their FMCG goods, get their iPhones delivered at home. Hundreds, thousands, 50,000, lakhs, and now even into crores if you get into all India. What really happens? If you are going to cater by sending your last mile basically means from the warehouse, the fulfillment centers or the delivery hubs to the end customer. If you are going to cater customer by customer, send your vehicles and send people across to deliver them, you had it. You'll never be able to sell, or you'll never be a successful warehouse or service provider. The logistics fails, your planning has failed. And therefore, what we need, or what is the order of the day, is that strategic planning, route optimization, and your traffic management system. Plan it in such a way that you do not come across hurdles or obstacles on the way. You do a milk run and you ensure that in the quickest possible time, maximum deliveries are effected from the warehouse. Now here comes the question. I give you 3 examples. A young student, a young youngster placed an order online for a mobile phone. He was absolutely thrilled that he is going to get his iPhone tomorrow. Because that's what, by placing the order, it mentioned. Tomorrow never comes. There was some reason or the other, and the moment you scan across and check through your systems, it tells you it is out for delivery. But it does not give you any detail about the timeline. You are a disappointed person. You are a frustrated person. And it arrives at your household 2 or 3 days later. Whereas it promised same day delivery or the next day early morning delivery. Incident 1. Incident 2, it arrives on time, you're absolutely thrilled, but you open the package, it's not the part or it's not the instrument that you had actually wanted or ordered. It has been goofed up. There's a mix. And therefore, what do? You reject and you return and start the process for refunds or a revised order. But in the meantime, imagine your frustration. Imagine the amount of work that you need to do. This is where the service provider of the warehouse will have to ensure process of reverse logistics. Forward logistics, from the warehouse to the customer. The reverse logistics, customer rejects, customer returns, back to the warehouse or back to the service provider. But what happens while all this is going on? Wastage of productive time. Frustration amongst the customers. They decide that I'm not going to place a repeat order with Amazon or Flipkart who has goofed up all this. And who is the person to be blamed? It's the service provider who acts on behalf of Amazon or Flipkart in the warehouse, in the fulfillment center, and ensures that the delivery, the right goods goes out for delivery to the right customer at the right time. This is what we all learned in the book. The definition of logistics. Right? But this doesn't happen. That is where we introduce an element called digitization. That is where we introduce an element called online reporting, tracking online, delivery to be ensured through agile means. In other words, the name of the game for supply chain management today is agility in supplies. The right goods to reach the customer on time. Reverse logistics, basically, friends, over a period of time we have found that people do not like it. Even the service providers do not like it because it increases the work in the warehouse. And ultimately, the manufacturers or the platform owners do not like it either. But of late, I'll give you a very famous example of component of a system called Tribe, which is Chroma operated stores, which has now expertise or gained expertise in refurbishing or receiving returns from the warehouses for the iPhones. They have opened a string of warehouses all over India and is going very strong. They are exhibiting this as their brand and their specialization in this particular element. Accepting returns. Ensuring that what was once considered as a cost for the company is now converted into an opportunity, a marketing opportunity and a revenue earning opportunity, at the same time increasing the popularity of receiving or the returns, accepting the returns in a very successful manner. And this is now being copied by Jio, the Reliance guys, as also by other Aditya Birla and other service providers. So what used to be once not liked by people in supply chain, the least rather liked commodity, is now being taken as an opportunity in your supply chain management. That is the trend which is now gaining acceptance amongst the people, amongst the service providers and amongst the owners. Friends, we are talking of sustainable warehouse. What do you mean by that? A warehouse which can reduce the carbon earning or decarbonize or decrease or earn carbon credits while you build the warehouse, while you build the infrastructure. You also take care of green logistics within the warehouse. You take care of reducing the energy consumption. You can have solar panels on your warehouse, which reduces consumption. You can deploy electrical vehicles to make sure that your last mile deliveries are also energy efficient and reduce time, because time and agility are of immense value, are the most important concepts, along with an important concept called digitization. Why digitization? Because every single operation that starts or originates from the warehouse till the time it reaches the customer, or in case of returns from the customer to the warehouse, need to be tracked online on time. That's where we need digitization. Some time back, I was asked by my colleagues, Raju, why don't we get often all the information about my container leaving the shores of Los Angeles, loaded on a vessel sailing through, reaching Mumbai port or Nhava Sheva port and getting discharged. But after that, if it's an ICD container or multimodal means, let's say it has to reach Bhubaneswar. Further details from Nhava Sheva to Bhubaneswar are not available online. It still maintains that same comment saying out for delivery or in transit. Reaches Bhubaneswar, I get a message from the customer caring agent or the railway agency or the shipping line saying that your container has reached this particular ICD. Now when will it be clear? From the ICD, through the customs, and then moving to the warehouse. So the warehouse guys are now asking me, I being the importer, sir, when will you give us the container for devanning it or de-stuffing it? And when will I reserve that space in the warehouse for your cargo? Why this incident is being put before you is, why can't we have a software right from the point where it is loaded on the ship till the point it reaches the warehouse and is de-stuffed? We do not have that. Even today, we don't have the tracking which is capable of giving you all the milestones. And we're talking of digitization. Sometime back, I was talking with my esteemed speakers about digitization and with Professor as well. This is a challenge which I'm throwing open before all of you. And I have come across many such. Multimodal transport, anything of your national logistics policy, of your dedicated freight corridors and ICDs and dry ports, etc. The concept basically, we are all good at talking on that. But again here, what will be the role of digitization? Without wasting further time, let me just show you a few slides that we are going to talk about sustainable warehouse, a sustainable e-com warehouse, the relationship of innovations in last mile and innovations in reverse logistics, how the three are interconnected and how these three are going to change the world of logistics. Right, friends? So these are the important elements when you talk of a sustainable e-com warehouse. Create a brand ethos, which is very important. Look at the title: recycle, reuse, and reduce. Reduce what? Reduce the energy consumption. Reduce the cardboard packing that you use in value adds. Reduce all the pollution creating or fuel guzzling machines. Instead, use electrical vehicles. Recycle cardboard packing. Include more eco-friendly measures. Keep buying carbon offsets. That is our national goal now. Though it is a part of the international goal, India has taken a very important step forward for taking the carbon credits and reducing the carbon consumption. Resell the products, recycle the products, which is part of the circular economy. This is the important concept when we talk of reverse logistics. Recycle, refurbish, repair and return. or scrap and sell. Reducing consumption and conserving resources. This is what we call it as renewable energy methods at warehouse and CFS, solar panels, LED lighting, the polycarbonate panels which can be used in the rooftops, which will allow you natural lighting. It can also have natural ventilation, thus reducing the need to put the lights on during daytime, because the fulfillment centers with all those conveyors working regularly and various other robotics as well as systems working throughout, you need to also look at conserving energy in the warehouse. Plant the trees and save the water. Switch off the engines of your vehicles which are come for loading and unloading. These are some of the basic means through which you can reduce the carbon content and the pollution within the warehouse. Green logistics basically means this. Wherever you get space, plant more greenery, plant more green trees. The last mile delivery, let's take the example of people like my own company, which is Gati, people like Safe Express, people like Delivery, people like Mahindra Logistics, etc. Number of branches being opened in tier 2 and tier 3 stations. Because the fundamental principle is start your last mile delivery stations or place your hubs near to the consumption centers. This will enable you to stock the goods and distribute it at the lowest cost and the fastest time. So location of your hubs, location of your delivery stations is very important. Last mile, unparalleled reach across India. The more stations you open, the more branches you have in India, makes you a very successful last mile delivery player. Remember, during the Big Billion sales or even other times, the question for every user or every customer is, when will I get my order? When will I get my object cargo which I ordered? When will I get? What time will I get? And the moment there is a delay, there is an element of frustration. This is sustainability through innovations in digital transformation, which is the most important trending core in the current day supply chain management, the last mile and reverse logistics digital transformation. Reverse logistics, at one point of time, the most discarded subject, the subject which people never liked. And today, that's now becoming a new revenue earning operation. Keep the returns moving. Deal with the returns. Either fix them, receive them, resell, return, recycle, scrap, or refurbish. But take the decision. Strategic planning and decision on time in case of reverse logistics is absolutely essential. Because people are returning to you in the faith that you will be able to repair and sell it back to the customer ASAP. Simple example. Yesterday, I had my own mobile phone, which I'm not carrying, going out of order because of the charging. There was some problem. I took the help of a couple of your students. They said, not to worry, sir. By today evening, we'll go to the shop, get it repaired, and come back. I was absolutely okay. Till that time, till the solution came up, which is a basic solution. I'm just giving you an example. I was a little worried, frustrated. Thinking that what am I going to do without the phone? This is what is happening. Understand the importance of every action of yours. Understand the importance of decision making on time. Strategic planning, investments, control, and this is what we call it as control tower functions in a successful supply chain management, especially the reverse logistics is going to increase now. Sustainable, innovative reverse logistics, consider this as a strategic asset for your company. And then collaboration with partners demands careful planning, technology investments. Now, sometime back, we were talking of robotics, we were talking of the LIDARs working in the warehouses, working in fulfillment centers and conveyor systems working, because fulfillment centers, when they started with about 5,000 falls, whereas today we are talking about 1 lakh falls. I'm talking of invoices falling 1 lakh per day. That's the speed and that's the volume at which we work. Imagine the importance of each function at the time of delivery, sortation, packing, going to the right place at the right time. All this you need some sort of a digitization to help you. And then communication. The success of logistics is communication. You can make a customer happy the moment you are able to communicate and tell him that this will arrive at this time for sure. He is happy. He is satisfied. Reduce waste while packing. Imagine those days, let's say a couple of years back, when some cargo used to come in, when some object used to come in. It used to have 3 or 4 layers of packing. Now they used to say that it's to prevent damage. Now remember the amount of paper, the amount of cardboard, the amount of various other, the plastics, the amount of strapping, etc., which goes waste into it. Today, people are realizing that using alternative resources to find alternative methods of packaging, preventing damage, at the same time reducing the use of paper and plastics. Reduce emissions and energy waste. This is where I said the solar power is becoming extremely important. New warehouses which are coming up are also having the provision of having solar panels on the roofs. This is going to give you an offset against electricity or energy consumptions. Sustainable energy is the key function of all this. And unless and until you have a sustainable e-com warehouse coupled with electrical vehicles being developed or deployed, supported by the reverse logistics functions being treated as a revenue earner rather than a wasteful expenditure, your logistics is not going to be complete without these three taken care of. Remember, of late I read a very interesting incident. OMV is a European company which has joined hands with an oil company called Woodstock. Now, OMV had a lot of plastics being generated in their organization. A lot of plastics. I'm talking of these two being foreign companies. They joined hands with an oil-producing company with technology and planning to go into such a thing that the plastics which are generated will now be converted into pyrolysis oil, which is essential substance for manufacturing plastics. The two have signed agreement and work on that is going on. So these are the type of innovations which are going on across the world to create sustainability. Plastics, instead of shredding them, instead of burning them, instead of creating more pollution with them, dumping them at some corner, creating clogs, while the water flows, water clogging because of the plastics, etc. Try and use them in making some other product. And this is where this particular example came into my mind. So friends, with this, I'll take a break and hand it over to the next speaker. Thank you very much for all the support that you gave me. Thanks to everyone for allowing me this time to speak and present my practice to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for presenting your experiences. I would also like to thank everyone for such a great, amazing introductory note. So now, proceeding. Our second guest is Mr. Devendra Murgal, who is the Country Lead Operations Management System at DHL Supply Chain, a distinguished professional with a remarkable 19-year career spanning manufacturing, supply chain, e-commerce, and industrial engineering. His expertise encompasses diverse departments such as production, maintenance, process engineering, project management, quality, and new product development. His manufacturing expertise spans a wide spectrum including automotive, power press, plastic extrusion, injection molding, and many more. Notably, he has collaborated with top-tier companies across various sectors, from automotive leaders like Maruti and Honda to e-commerce giants like Flipkart and Amazon. Sam is a certified lead enterprise champion, Kaizen workshop expert, and Six Sigma Black Belt, reflecting his commitment to excellence. In his illustrious career, Sir has been a driving force behind lean manufacturing and industrial engineering initiatives. would like to humbly invite you on the stage.
Good morning. What's the stand? Good morning. Good morning. Are you available? Yes. Or in sleep? Good morning. Good morning. One more time. Good morning. Morning. You should have energy, correct? Yes. You are going to be part of the industry. Without energy, industry will not accept you, correct? So you have to be there. And thanks to Arun sir, thanks to the team, and thanks to the college for selecting me as a speaker. And I know that when Sachin starts batting, correct, for the second batsman it is really very difficult to see where he hasn't stopped it, correct. So I will try to add on what sir has already, because sir has already taken everything into aspect, and I don't want to recycle it, but I try to add on in your knowledge. So I worked in Japanese culture, and I worked with Japanese. I worked in automotive industry. 12 years I worked in car industry. I handled General Motors, Ford, and company in automotive, and then I worked in Flipkart and in third party logistics. So one thing I want to tell you that e-commerce nowadays is the life part. Correct. It is not a you can't escape e-commerce, right? So e-commerce is what when electronically you are purchasing something, correct? So when we are talking about e-commerce sustainability and in last mile and reverse logistics, we need to understand we are saying sustainability, correct? So first we need to understand what is sustainability, because see, when you are going into the industry, you need to have that exposure of operation. We have theories, so you can't go with the theory. You need to be practical. But right now, the college is providing you the facility, or you have the industrial experience speakers, correct? But when you are in the industry, nobody is going to train you. Industry. So something you have to gain from this college and from this kind of conclave. So without wasting the time, I'll start. So what we are going to do in recent years, there have been several notable innovations in last mile delivery and reverse logistics. These innovations aim to improve. So when we are talking about innovation, why we are doing innovation? We are doing innovation for efficiency. What is efficiency? What is efficiency? When we are using our resources. Correct. You understood? We are using our resources. Resources not only the manpower, correct? We have man, machine, method, material, environment is also resources, correct? So this is what, this conclave is what? It's an environment where you are learning, correct? If they are not giving you this kind of learning, what you are going to do in the industry and how you are going to understand the practical aspect, correct? So the point is sustainability and customer experience. So without customer, you are not going to learn anything, because customer is a part who is actually demanding you. When somebody is not asking you, you can't do it. But when I am asking you in a different manner, then you have to think in a different manner. So customer is actually pulling you to think of something different. Correct? So innovation what we are doing for efficiency, sustainability and customer experience in the final stage of production distribution. So we will discuss what is sustenance. So the part is sustenance versus innovation is they have a relationship. Correct. What do we mean by sustainability? So that is the most important part. How do you know what is sustain? Sustain is a consistency. Correct. What do you mean by sustain? When a child is getting number, whether it is out of 100, 30, 35, 40, 46, correct? But what you are saying, when we sustain some number, you don't have that peak and low, correct? Now you are saying you have sustained. Now you are going to the next level. You understood? So sustainability is what consistently when you are reaching to a performance. That doesn't matter performance is good or bad, but you are consistent. You heard now? When you can't run, you should walk. When you are not walking, you should crawl. Right? What it means? It means consistency. So sustainability is what? Sustain. What to sustain? The result you have to sustain. Result could be good or bad. You have innovation, you have so many things, people will support you now. Nowadays you are having so many service providers, correct? When you can't do it, let it done by the experts. That's the thing, correct? So you don't have to think that everything you can learn. If you can't learn, you have so many service. But you need to see how you are going to get this service, correct? So sustainability is nothing but the result. Sustain is the result. Correct? Because when you sustain, then only you will go to know that okay, I need a new innovation. Understood? So when students are going for a 12th exam, you understood? So I am saying that okay, I am capable of now I am at a saturation level. I can, my marks are 88 out of 100, but I need 98. Correct? So still I have a gap of 10 numbers. I know that I am sustained. I am not able to do more. Then what I need? I need mentor. I need a training. Understood? So the part you need to understand when we are saying e-commerce sustainability. It means e-commerce is performing in a sustained level. You do not have that much variation. You understood variation? So you should not have that variation. You can't make it zero, but your variation should be in control. Correct? So that's what we mean by sustainability. And you need to understand why you need to be sustained. Why you have to be sustained? Because when you will get sustenance, it means you have used your capacity. Now you need to have a new. If you are at the start of the level without sustaining, if you are going for an innovation, that's not going to help you out. So the first part is you need to work on your capacity. When you fulfill your capacity, when you are at the peak of your capacity, whatever will be saturation point. It doesn't mean that I'm at lower level, they are at higher level. You understood? So exactly the e-commerce. So whether it is a big company, Flipkart, Amazon, or a small company, organization is organization. They might have their own capacity. Amazon might have their own capacity. Correct? So, but at my capacity, I have to be sustained because then I will look for a new innovation or new idea, something what I'll correct. I'll look for a new market, even correct, new product. So, if you remember, Flipkart has started with. Come on, you must have books. Nowadays, are they working more on books? No. 2008 time when they have started, correct? They started with books only. Correct? Nowadays they are not thinking about books. Now you see the number of categories. Why? Because that's a best example of sustainability. Let's work for the books. Let's let's have the transportation, the customer experience, everything. Let's set up everything, correct? You understood my point? Let's set up everything, and from books now you can go to one category, then two categories, then three categories. Now, whatever you think it is available in Amazon or e-commerce or Flipkart everywhere, correct? Even which you don't think, innovative part, you have that in Amazon. Right? So the first part is the guy need to understand what is sustainability. Correct? Who need to sustain? Exactly what sir said, Raju sir said. What do you think? It's me, it's a seller or buyer, or who else? You can't be. If you remember the word of borderline, हम ही हम है तो क्या हम है और तुम ही तुम हो तो क्या तुम. So if you are a giant, you can't eat all the resources. You are sustainable. How? Because you eat every resources because you have the money. Correct? So sustainability doesn't mean you eat every resources. If I am in a big company, I'll buy bikers, I'll buy 3PS, I'll buy every single e-scooty. The other e-commerce are looking. Sustainability doesn't mean that you eat every resources. It's you need to take your environment, your public, your society, your people, correct? Everyone. To get sustain, you have your employer, the bikers also. The people those who are working in the warehousing, you are consuming there every hour, correct? That's how you need to be stable. Correct? Stabilization means when you see each and every one has their own capacity, correct? And stability is not only my stability, my resource stability. I'm riding a bike every second 24 hours, vigilance at complete 24 hours. Do you think it will run? It will not run much more. Correct? Again, you need a new resource. then your investment will come, correct? So optimum utilization, correct? So the word is, you should use not maximum utilization, that should be optimum utilization, correct? How and what's the right way? So that's another point. Like when you will be in the industry, you will go, you will attend, you will be in a different department, even in warehousing, you will supply chain, you do not know where you will go. You will go in pharma. See, there are a number of categories of industries, correct? You do not know where you will go. You will go in pharma, you will go in e-commerce, you will go in third party. In every single company, any organization, you need to show what is the value. What is the value? Understood? You received a T-shirt, A to B. You ask for a blue color, they send you a red color. Correct? It doesn't mean like it doesn't mean more like. But if you are in a pharma and your medicine is going to a hospital, X medicine has to go, and you send a Y, is it okay? Can you compare it with risk level, the severity of your mistake? So whenever you are going, you are looking for an innovation, you need to search what is the risk level. So when you are going into industry, it should not be like I am on the profile and I have to start thinking of innovation. At what time you need to think about innovation? Right time. What should be the right time? You guys need to understand what should be the right time of innovation. Every second you can't think of innovation. Innovation needs money. Innovation needs time. Innovation needs your proof of concept. Correct? The market has to be ready for that. You understood? Nowadays, you just drone delivery. You saw in other countries, Amazon has started drone delivery. Can you do right now in your public? You'll never see drone delivery, drone back. Correct? Drone will not return. You should see whether my consumption, the people those who are consuming that, are they ready? Correct? So you need to see the situation when you are going to do that. So proof of concept, your investment. It's not like I will purchase 1,000 drone and I will start and only single drone came back to me and I was looking where is 999. Correct? So innovation need to have time. At what time I need that and what it is. The required innovation. I need a required innovation, which is exactly at that point the needed, the fitment, appropriate technology, appropriate, remember always, appropriate, usable, friendly, cheaper, smart, digitalized, AI. We have so many things in our innovation, correct? But the major part is you need to figure out at what time need, what I actually require, correct? And what I want that into this particular technology or innovation, correct? Do I really need AI or I need to give a proof of concept right now? How much? The cost is associated when you are working. As I told you, in India, innovation is not cheaper, correct? So you have to think before you put some innovation when you are saying, okay, we need robotics. Everything, it's not cheaper. It's not like you are going to acquire so many, you are going to give me a robot and I am going to, implement this or execute this in my process. Correct? It's not that much easy. So it's a cost. So before putting your words to the innovation, you need to understand what is the cost associated with it. Proof of concept. So the proof of concept is the major part. You have something, you have idea, correct? We are human. Energy in your brain, you are thinking, correct? And then you will come to an idea because you are in the process. You will tell your organization, I have an idea, correct? Have you heard smart? Correct? So there is a word realistic. Yes, you have that idea, it is realistic, but not now, after 10 years. It is realistic. So you need to think about the smart part also. Achievable and realistic. Yeah, it's realistic, but after 10 years it could be. Correct? That's what I'm saying. Right, adopted, right now what I require. If you remember earlier days when delivery people used to come, they were having an RFM, correct? RFM. Nowadays, everything is there mobile. And gradually you are increasing to innovation. Correct? innovation also need a gradually increasing, incremental. It's not like I heard about that, we can implement that. And the part is the market will move to another paradigm. Suppose you have an innovation, an idea, because you have to sustain. You are not sustained, correct? Or for sustenance you need an innovation. But now what happened? You are working on the proof of concept, and suddenly you will come to know, sir, idea. And he said, now it's gone. Now there is a new demand, new market. Correct. Again you have to work on. So your proof of concept, your time should be limited. Correct. You have a limited time to pick that customer. Otherwise, you will vanish. And the best part is, if you see, you have seen the plant, small plant. Have you seen the plant? In the picture, there is a deep meaning of this. See, sustainability. Could you tell me that if you pour more and more and more water, what do you think? It will grow within one day. You are going to damage it. Correct? So if you really want to learn the sustainability with ease, with the process standardization, you should learn from a plant. It will take time. You can't throw so many things. Because nowadays in agriculture you have so many innovations, correct? Correct? And if you put everything into that, you will damage that plant instead of growing. And that's what exactly at what time you need it. Now earlier we were having few vegetables or specific to season. Nowadays you can get it. Correct? It took time to innovate those parts where you can have those vegetable agriculture parts. So sustained innovation is very close to each other, and you guys need to learn that. Now this is what I really want to share with you. There is a two part. One is Kaizen, one is innovation. Have you heard Kaizen? Given by Toyota. What is the difference between Kaizen and innovation? When every day we are thinking of a process, gradual, once I told you. When you are at a saturation, we do Kaizens every day, small improvements. Now the demand is looking for something else. Now your organization is coming to you that let's think for something different. We are in the market, now we are at a saturation level. Correct? And we have to give some breakthrough. Remember, the breakthrough idea is nothing but the innovation. You did something and it's run, and you are saying, sir, it's running like pizza. Have you heard pizza? No? The 30 minutes delivery when they have initiated. The person who thought of that idea, let's give a 30. Within a 30 minutes, the pizza will be at your doorstep. Correct? Have you seen at that time the demand of pizza is increasing? Increased like nothing. Correct? That's what kind of, it's a breakthrough. They give a short part. So innovation, another part of for you to learn, innovation is not only in machinery, technology, it's an idea also. You got my point? We are in a rectangle where we are in a box, we are thinking only innovation is, related to only digital part or the robotics or, machinery, something else. It could be an idea. Innovation itself is not saying machine innovation or any kind of innovation, correct? It is saying innovation. It could be an idea. One idea can change your life. Correct? So that's a breakthrough. So Kaizen and innovation. So where you need an innovation is connected to your saturation point. So I thought let's another part is, see, unless until we are not going into the processes. So you guys, when you will be there at any organization, I request you guys, stay in the operation first. Wherever you will go, any department, you go into sales, you go into marketing, you will go into operations, supply chain, wherever you will go. Give your 6 months or 1 year to your operation. Without operations, you can't do that. You have to be a part of your operation. So I thought of that, prepare something like which will help you when you will be in the organization. It's just an example kind. Like you need to understand go deep into the process. Without process knowledge, you can't do anything. You will have a number of ideas. Nothing is going to work unless until you do not know where I am hitting, what is the process, what I am going to tell. So you do not know. There are a number of, see, in DHL we have 500 GT campus placement. People are coming, GTs are coming. We are dealing with the GTs. Same, and they were asking, sir, what we have to do. And I asked them, go and stand 8 hours. 8 hours. So I'll give an example of that. When I joined DHL, I went to Calcutta for 3 biggest warehousing for Amazon. It was a startup. I went there. I saw. If you know, in Amazon they have a cut-off time. Okay, so cut-off time means there are shipments which you order, right? So the last one start when you place your order, and Amazon or Flipkart is saying, okay, your order has been placed. The last one start from that part, correct? You have a cut-off of 12, then 2, and then 4, and then 10. So you have 4 kind of cut-off, correct? So till that 12, every shipment which is connected to 12, you have so many trucks. It has to be there at 12 at transport point where you can deliver. So what they are doing a reverse calculation before 12, 11:30. They download a file. They will come to know, okay, how many shipments were there? 1,000. How many is remaining? 10. Correct. Where is that 10? The people are there in the warehouse. They are searching for those. Correct. Searching for those where they are, because the time is going. You have half an hour. When you pick, then it scan, it will go to the transportation part, and then they will club and they will send it. Correct. So when I was there, I was standing as I saw that people were like running like nothing. So where is the pick ticket? They will do a reverse. They will check, okay, what is the part number? This part number is this pick ticket. This pick ticket is with X name of the person. Suppose Ram. Where is Ram? I do not know. It's a 3 lakh square feet area. Where is, now we are going running. Where is Ram? Where is the shipment? Because the truck is waiting for the shipment. You understood that part? So the whole day I was like looking at, okay, why you are so concerned? And they were saying, okay, sir, this is how we have to otherwise the truck. So one single shipment will get delayed. So next time time will come, correct? I said, okay, let's do, give me a number. So you are using your data. So that's another point. Use data. Remove feelings. This is what is my feeling. This is what is my opinion. No, don't give your opinion and feelings. Go to the data. Let's see what data is speaking. Nowadays, data is a new diesel. Correct. So without data, your decision will. There is a probability whether it will work or not work. Correct. So you should not be a confusion part. So you should collect the data. We collected the data, and I saw that average 38 minutes should be there. If a person is going for picking something, within a 38 minutes he has to come here, or in 30 minutes. I asked to my IT person if we can do that. If a person is going and my Excel will do a reverse calculation that at 12 he went, at 12:30 he has to come. So it will pass 30 minutes, the road should be red. He said, I can do that. He made a macro planning or micro in Excel, and after 30 minutes it got red. Now you know to whom I have to go, correct? Before that you do not know. Next time, when I saw the people are scrolling down, I asked why you are scrolling down. They are saying, sir, there are 100 of Excel, 100 of row column, 800. I need to check everywhere. Where is red? Where is red? Then I asked my IT guy, can we have a red pop-up? He said, yes, it is in Excel. Every picker who has came before 30 minutes, the pop-up will tell you there are 5 people. Then I asked, now what is the issue? They said we have to call them. We do not know the zone. We again do something for the zone. Now you know where is in the zone. Now what is the problem? You can't call out like you are shouting. Correct. Don't shout. You have a PA system connected to that. The system will tell you, Ram, please come. Ram, please come. Still they have issue. I said, what is? Because they are in Bengal, so they can't understand Hindi. I said, that's okay. What do you call? Jaldi out. They said, Tarotari ache. Correct. I said, can you do this in Excel? He said, I can do that. We put this in Tarotari ache, and then after 15 minutes, we set up these people automatic. So every 15 minutes, the system is saying, Ram Tarotari ache, Sham Tarotari ache. You got my point? But how you have done that? How you have done that? When you are on the floor, when you are at the process, when you are standing there, when you are asking them what is the issue. So whenever you are going in any organization, go to your process, learn your process. That is the first part. Otherwise, you are not going to. So this is an example which has number of shipments. So axis, whether it is controllable or not, that is another part. When you are going in innovation or in process change, you need to understand the things which you are going to change. Can you control that? Is it in your control? Demand is never in your control, and you can't control that, and you should not control that. Correct? So axis, what you should not control, and another part is you should not. The green is yes, you can change it. It is not in your control. Weight of the shipment is not in your control, but you can control what? The carriage bag. The guys, those who are having that carriage bag. Have you seen the delivery boys? Correct? That use bag. We are going to innovation, but we are leaving the base. So your innovation will not work because it is not connected to the people, the resources. So you need to connect that innovation with the resources. And that's from this slide. I would like to present, like, you need to understand. You have so many frauds, you have errors, theft, accident, shipment miss, vehicle and its condition. Your vehicle is not good. You do whatever innovation you are going to do, but that's what, if you are not going to check your resources, health, you are never able to sustain, and it's not going to work. Now there are few innovations like drone deliveries, autonomous vehicle, exactly what sir has already explained everything. And at the 15th number, I would like you to just focus. Buy your purchase at the time of delivery, ₹99 per order, available only on prepaid. I told you innovation is nothing but an idea. Remember, in mantras, whenever you are doing innovation, when you are purchasing retails, correct? You have an idea. Whenever you are doing a returns, industries, they are fed up of the returns because of the size. Now mantra is saying you pay 99 rupees, and when you are delivery boy at your doorstep, if you are paying 99, you can check and return it back. I'm saving my cost. Another part is your end-to-end. If you see, if you are not going to check your end-to-end supply chain, what is end-to-end? In Amazon, if you have seen, you order for a refill. You will see number of refill. Correct. You are ordering a refill. Refill came to my home. What's the cost of the refill? 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 100 rupees. Correct. But for that 100 rupees, they invested. It came to me, and I'm saying that's a wrong product. Now return it. Now if you see the supply chain part of the last mile, you are only working on this part. I ordered. Correct. It's not by default. I ordered. I choose it. So you choose it, and it came. It was wrong. Correct. Now, if you see the supply chain part of last mile, that's the part where they have not done any mistake, correct? But now what they have done, if you go to Amazon, you write any refill, single refill, and you just press it. Nowadays, what they have done, now they are showing refill with a brand. Why you are confused? Now they are showing this refill is for this brand, this refill is for this brand, even though when you are choosing. Now you are choosing a right part. Is it an innovation in machinery? No. Any digitalization? No. They just picture ID. Correct? This refill with this pan. Now it's easy for you to choose. You have taken an action at another end. You have the result at another end. Correct? So your reverse has been finished. I went to a seller, those who were into retail. In Delhi, I worked 5 months with the seller in improving their performance. I asked them, what is your best, product category, where you are earning? And they told me an X category. It's, the volume is very high. The earning is very good. I said, what is your return percentage? He said the same X category. How could it be possible? Like you are selling something, it is coming back. They are saying, yes sir, when you sell it, it has to come back. Why? Who told you this theory? Correct? So when we started to deep into process, analyze it, I went every physical, more than 5,000 shipments I checked. What was the error? The error was the chain was not good. And I asked them, the chain was not good. And they said, sir, 300 रुपए की शर्ट में 100 रुपए की टी शर्ट में क्या मतलब 500 रुपए की चेन लगाओगे क्या? I said 10 rupees, 5 rupees. But the party, that doesn't matter. Quality is quality. The person who is providing you the 5 rupees chain is actually earning from the 5 rupees. You need to understand it, correct? And now what is happening when it is coming back to you, what you are doing? You do not know. They do not know whether the shirt is coming, the t-shirt is coming because of the chain. They do not know what they are doing. You return the shirt, you just send it to the lottery, they do the pricing and again. So you haven't done anything on that t-shirt, so the same t-shirts are coming back. When you prove it, then you know, so you do not know. So when I asked to Flipkart, I asked them, I want when a seller will scan, we should know for what reason the customer has returned it. When you know, you can separate those category of returns. But how you have done that? Unless until you will not go into the process. So make sure when you will be there in the organization, that's what I'm learning for the purpose of this complaint is you should understand e-commerce sustainability. Now you understood sustainability, correct? You are not sustained. Sustained means in quality, in productivity, in efficiency. You have to be CDS, correct? Productivity, quality, cost, delivery, safety. Everything has to be sustainable, correct? And last but not least, the value. So Japanese are more focused on the value. So what is the value? Value is your price versus value, and that's up to you what you are going to choose. If your salary is your value, you have so many categories. Market is your value, your employees are your value, your environment is your value, but you can't choose anyone. You have to be correct in our first presentation. What I told you, correct? हमें तो क्या है और तुम तो क्या तुम है, correct? So you can't choose anyone. Though even you are getting profit, you are thinking that in my e-commerce sustainability, logics and everything, I should more bias towards seller. Then you will lose your customer. If you go more into your customer, you will lose your seller. Correct? So to get the profitability and maintaining everything, you need to have a value. So that's the end of my presentation, and I really would like to tell you, if you really want to go in e-commerce, sustainability, last mile and logistics, reverse logistics, you need to understand the process first. Innovation is a copy paste. You don't have to work. Do not invent the wheel. You will see in Google, you will see number of innovations are there. You don't have to do that. People are there sitting. They are looking for the industries, those who are coming to there for innovation and machines and design, everything. But what they can't give you is your knowledge of the process, product, wherever you will go, and the severity, the importance of the project, correct? Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful insight. I'm sure our students have given a lot of. Our first speaker for the event is Mr. Shivali Prasad, the Vice President and Global Head of Business Development at XIM. An alumnus of NIT Rourkela, where Sir graduated in Mechanical Engineering in 1999, post which he pursued MS in Industrial Engineering and Operations Research from Texas A&M University. He is leading the connected vehicle technology discussions with global automotive manufacturers. He has been with the automotive industry for the past 22 years and has done various projects with major automotive companies including BMW, JLR, Mahindra, Hyundai, Tata Motors, Bajaj, to name a few. He was part of the IBM New York automotive practice and helped building optimization engines towards global volume planning for automotive companies. So join hands in welcoming Shivali sir. Sir, welcome.
So thank you for inviting me. The speakers before me have covered a lot of depth, a lot of knowledge. First, thank you to the student committee for inviting the audience from Bombay and for organizing the event. And set of students who are here. I'm Ashwamedh. I have been part of this journey in supply chain, in computer software, in automation for about 20 plus years, 25 years almost. And I think I have some background and some knowledge of this industry fairly well, both from a global perspective as well as from an Indian perspective. Prior to joining Cibros, I worked with a company called Map India. I've been in that business over about 14 years. We were 10 people team. Now we're public listed. I moved out to family control business. And now we're building on Cibros, which is the next generation of automotive technologies. Most of these folks are coming from Tesla, and we're building stable mobility products around that. As I was introduced, I live in Bombay, Mumbai, Alagosa. My career was built from the state. I studied here at Raurkela. I always try to come whenever I get an opportunity to come back here to Bhubaneswar, to Raurkela, to Sambalpur. I was a mechanical engineer, and I did not want to be a mechanical engineer. I did a few summer training, and I said, this is not for me. It's too hot to work in the shop floor. And I had a professor of mine who basically said, why don't you do something related to mathematics and engineering? And operations research and industrial engineering was something that came up. And I got a scholarship, went to the US, got an opportunity to work in something that was being known as supply chain at that time, about 25 years ago. And it was in thing, and the biggest company at that time was Dell. Dell was the most efficient delivery mechanical, and you could order a Dell laptop or a computer online, and then Dell would buy or produce these parts in different parts of the world, package it, give it to FedEx, and FedEx, which is a courier company in the US, would come and deliver it home for you. And it was fascinating because this was one of the very few things you could buy online or on a phone, but not even online. You would place an order on the phone. And I saw something known as Amazon, and I bought my first computer on Amazon, I think, in 1999. And it was shocked, right? You go online, you put a credit card, and the computer came home in about 3 days. I never experienced anything like this because in India this concept was not there. There was no concept of internet had just started that time, and you could not buy anything online. Online was just for chatting and gaming and those kind of things. Right? And along the way, I landed up running a company called IBM, and I became part of their supply chain practice. And 9/11 happened, 2000 dot-com collapse happened, and we made off, I think, almost 50% of the production in IBM. So I did not even that. But I was lucky enough, I got a project around supply chain, where I had to do mathematical programming to figure out which factories to run and which factories to turn on and turn off. And I was literally put in this position where you're writing optimization engine, you're writing sequence programming, you're doing NLP, linear programming, all of these things that you study in school, but you never see it implemented. If you look at Amazon, that it does a lot of that. And to study that exactly as the people before said, you have to understand what the process is. So the math is fine, but if you don't even know what the process is and how the process works end to end, the math doesn't work. So in a typical manufacturing setup, you have about 50-55 different parameters that you give weightage to when you come up with these equations. And you optimize these equations to tell you, okay, I have a union contract, I have this inventory I need to carry, your SS models, and all of these things that you learn in college or in school, and you implement it. And at the end of the day, the business head or the CEO of a company, which used to be Mr. Teacher at that time, he became the CEO of Mercedes, he's like, Shiva, and I was this young, techie kid. He would like, I want to know how much money am I saving by optimizing this, and what if I want to increase my margin by about $1,000 more on every triangle, and how much will that cost? And which plant and what should be my product mix and how should I do this? And that was a great learning experience for me. I saw how the supply chains work, and being part of IBM was exposed to Dell and Walmart because I was trained on something known as RFID because in 2001. RFID was a new thing. The US Department of Defense had this mandated that all their shipments, the Iraq war was starting, would have to have something known as an RFID tag, which was then broadcast. RFID tag is nothing but a small chip where you send a message to a power, like when you send a scan, it basically wakes up and sends a message back to you that this is who I am. Small amount of data, if 1 kilobyte or 2 kilobytes. Walmart mandated it, and slowly, this whole sensitization or digitization and movement of things with information started happening. Warehouse management systems started coming up. I work in this thing. There's also a company there known as Management Associates, I don't know what it's called now, where they would define how you move pallets, how you move boxes in the warehouse, and how you move things around. So all of this kind of joins together. But at the end of the day, the most important thing while you're doing all this is for the customer. The customer can be a B2B customer, a customer can be a B2C customer. Is he delighted or is she delighted? And whatever her expectation, as Sir was saying, has been set, have you met that expectation? So did this, moved back to India and joined Map India. We were very small at that time. We were literally 10, 12 people, 20 people company. And we started building maps. And I had to go and explain to people what is a map, what is a digital map, what takes for granted on all your mobile phones today. Think about 15 years ago, we didn't have touchscreen phones. Right? The first touchscreen phone was HTC. And I would go and explain that, hey, this is something. I launched the first GPS tracking system in India. So you start explaining to this, and I would go to the TCI, and I set up the CPEX systems, the Mangalore logistics systems. And you talk to all these guys, and you say, okay, this is how map works, and this is what your routing is. And no one really had gone to that level of depth. Like, what is the routing? And then came along Amazon and Flipkart. So I landed a meeting such as Billy Mansur, I landed a meeting, Dipinder, and they were all my customers, and all the big companies. And the idea was, how do you route? How do you create that routing? Because I want to deliver in the cheapest manner possible. And none of these companies could afford these high-end systems. It was too expensive. SAP's had these systems, SAP, and Deloitte had something. All these companies had, but you think about Flipkart in 2008, there these two kids who were in Delhi, they moved to Bangalore, and they are doing delivery on the motorcycle. And Sachin is going and he's doing delivering books. It was in Koramangala. And they wanted to buy a mapping or a routing system where they could create a picture with the orders coming from, geocode it, and see which is the first one and which is the last one. And of course, they got funding and they got money, and it became much bigger. But the idea of routing has not really changed fundamentally since last 8 years. There is something called digital contracting algorithm. Right? It's a traffic salesman problem used for pretty much everything from machine learning to servers to queuing systems to traffic lights, but the math remains the same. And how you implement it depends on the kind of product that you are offering. So what you will, as I said, for a medical system may be very different than what you make for refrigerators, may be very different than what you're doing for a t-shirt. And these get implemented in the backend. And the entire Indian industry changed when fundamentally Amazon landed up in India. And I was the first vendor to them. And I made a lot of trips to Seattle and helped set up their routing systems. And they wanted to start mapping out every address. And Amazon does something very interesting. When Amazon, when you order from Amazon, and let's say you and your mom or dad or cousin, brother or sister, you also have an Amazon app. Amazon app to Amazon app talks to each other on Android phone. If you're searching for a t-shirt, an offer pops up in your mom's phone because they know it's the same address, right? So all of these things which are now fancy known as machine learning or decision systems or AI or whatever name you want to call it. But essentially, you're starting to see, you're trying to calculate demand as to what is the potential demand on that particular address. So if you look at Amazon allows you, this is something that Jesse also believes in, where you put in any address you want, and the system has to figure out what the delivery location is. Previously, if you had ever, this is what way back, you would have to put in a fixed address, a pin code, a locality, an address, etc., etc. Amazon said, I don't care. Customer is king. He decides to put in whatever he wants to put in. It is for the backend system guys to figure out where the address is and how to deliver. And worldwide, what happens is, especially in the Western world, you have pin codes and zip codes. If you go to UK, it's still more smaller. A pin code is a final delivery postal code is approximately 4 or 8,000. In India, we don't even know how many pin codes are, because there are 7 definitions of pin code. So if I look at Gurgaon only has 2 pin codes, and Gurgaon only has 2 pin codes. Berhampur has more than that. Why? Because Berhampur was on the Bombay-Madras, Calcutta-Madras train line, and sorting used to happen in the postal days in 1930s. So landed in very more pin codes, it was a bigger town, but Gurgaon was a village in 1930s, had only 2 pin codes. So now, all of these big companies, as they started delivering, whether it's all of these last mile delivery companies, which are taking new orders, had to start cutting up these pin codes and say, okay, this is the DLF golf course area, these are the 5 buildings, this is pin code something, something, that something, something. So they started creating their own boundaries of how they need to deliver. And each of these delivery locations get mapped to a last mile delivery place. So you have first mile, second mile, third mile, however you want to nomenclature it. But essentially, when you set up a delivery mechanism, you will have a main warehouse, which is large, which is when you say, 3 million square feet or 30 lakh square feet, think of normal house in India is about 1,000 square feet. Now make that 30 lakhs, right? So 30 lakh square feet is a huge amount of space. So it's like a football field where you have to walk or go on a cycle or something from one end to the other end, and you have constantly trucks coming in and trucks going out, right? And all these parcels and packets and etc. So you have to standardize, and you have to be able to find. So as someone said, when an order, how does it work, right? I go to Amazon, I place an order, I want a mobile phone. That mobile phone, obviously I don't do mobile phone. I want to buy a tie. Now the tie is there in some warehouse in India. Or it is not in any warehouse, it is with some seller. So someone is selling ties. So the order gets placed on Amazon, or Amazon searches in the system that do I have this tie. If they don't have a tie, they have a calculation, they say, okay, there is a nearby seller on me who can deliver this blue tie. So they place an order on him. He has to then make that tie, put it in a box, put a sticker on it that this is the order ID, blah blah blah, this box. Someone from Amazon or third-party company like Delivery or Safex or Gati or PCI, someone will go on a motorcycle or scooter or a tempo, go to that company which is let's say nearby, pick up their box, bring it to a central warehouse, and then from the central warehouse, let's say I'm in Bombay, and this Thai guy is somewhere in Faridabad near Delhi. He'll come to the central warehouse, from there he'll get into his truck and get shipped to Bombay, comes to Bhiwandi. From Bhiwandi, I live in Parade, my nearest shopping center is in Haikla. From there, it will get picked up in a smaller tempo because trucks can't go into big cities. Over 1 ton trucks cannot go into big cities. It comes to this sorting center or the small delivery center, and from there, a motorcycle guy will pick it up and drop it. All this has to happen seamlessly. So, what is done to make it happen? You need a tracking mechanism. You need to be able to see where the box is, and Amazon doesn't tell you when the box is coming. They say they'll deliver next day. But they know exactly when it's coming. The reason they say deliver next day because if they miss the deadline, it's expectation management. So they don't want to say it's coming at 9 o'clock and by the way, the guy's motorcycle broke down and he come at 12 o'clock, then the lady will start calling up the call center and say, 9 o'clock I'm waiting and my box is not come. So they never give you the exact time of delivery. Okay, there's a defined reason for that, right? And this box comes, you see it, and it will be one, so you have now multiple part numbers that get it. You have a part number that the tire manufacturer made. You had some mechanism of the truck guy who's calculating that part because he also has his own mechanism on how he wants to track. There will be a third-party logistics company which is again renting a truck from the market, so someone is renting him a truck. Now it has gone to Bombay, so Bombay again the delivery will be another third-party company, it could be a cart or some other company. So everyone is tracking the shipment. And there is a primary part number which is defined by Amazon, and there are many secondary part numbers. All have to join together, and finally I get my pay. And I say I don't like this guy. The blue is not good enough, I'm sending it back. Okay? So then the whole cycle will reverse back again. And now another company will come next day, so I've stopped your time, he will pick it up, that's the reverse logistics. And it will go back to the price supply, back to Faridabad. Or it will get thrown, or it will be chucked out. If it's too small, like Amazon says, throw it, you just put it and send you later. Right? So these are things that are constantly decided, and there's a whole system that works to make this happen. But as the speaker before me rightly said, it is a process that kind of kicks in and see how that works. So, e-commerce by nature is not sustainable. It's absolutely not sustainable, right? Why the best example is Zepto. I don't know if anyone use Zepto here? Okay, yeah, many of you, right? Now Zepto is the next level of e-commerce, right? And young kids, 19-year-olds, so again, experience doesn't matter as per me. It's how fast you can adapt. All these guys are built these mega multi-billion-dollar companies that no experience. They were coming fresh out of college. Each and every company I talked about, right? Experience is highly overrated. That's another thing. And they've built it at scale for delivering to millions and millions of customers that even Amazon, US, etc. has not done. Right? Look at the beauty of a Swiggy or a Zomato. You place an order in 25 minutes, someone comes and has quickly. It is fascinating. The amount of calculations that go on the back end, both on the computer as well as on the ground, it is fascinating. So e-commerce by nature is not sustainable because I am ordering one tie. I could have very well walked down to the store and bought a tie. Maybe I would not get that big amount of selection, but my carbon footprint will not be so much. right? All these trucks are moving around from Matai on the boxes and the packaging and the plastic and everything. So most likely in the next few years, we'll have a carbon tax on all of e-commerce deliveries. So e-commerce pricing will go up. Right now, it's not fully priced. The second thing is when all these e-commerce or last mile delivery happens, all these delivery boys are using, so if I use a motorcycle, I pay road tax or I use a car, I pay a lifetime road tax, X amount of money. Every state has a road tax on the way. I pay a small amount of money. But now if I'm using that same bike for speed delivery or Zomato delivery, that guy is driving 18 hours a day. He is breaking my road. He didn't pay for it. Right? Average person drives 1 hour a day, half an hour in the morning going to office, half an hour coming back, maybe an hour and a half. These vehicles are running almost 12, 14, 18 hours a day, Ola, Ubers, etc. They need to pay some money to the government to maintain these roads. So there will be a tax on delivery coming up. And these are things that will happen in the next 4-5 years. Right? So even if look at the most penetrated market in the world, which is US and China to some extent in terms of e-commerce, it's not lost 25%. After a point, shopping also becomes an experience. So if you look at in India, how many of you have bought online in the last 2 weeks? How many of you have gone to any store in the last 2 to 3 weeks to buy something? Almost 60-40 ratio. What happens is actually, get your own job and you get into markets, the shopping becomes an experience. Indians don't have any hobbies or they don't play any sports. All we do is watch cricket, consume internet, and do touch-up and politics and all of these things. So going to the mall is actually an outing. And when you go to the mall, you'll have to buy something. So there will be an inflection point at which it will be very difficult to increase these mass market sales of gadgets. Typically, mobile phones sell very well because it's a high value item, 10, 15, 20,000, 1 lakh rupee, and in a very small packaging. The other extreme is diapers, which is very big and no margin. So selling diapers online is a loss-making entity. Every diaper company that sold diapers online lost, right? So mobile phones and electronics and expensive, like Carrot Lane is doing a good job, Tanishq is doing a good job. Wherever you can have high value items in a small packaging, those businesses on e-commerce do well. Large ones are difficult. And why those become still more difficult because anyway the margins of them is very less. Like a typical margin on a refrigerator or a TV is about 3 to 5 or something. Like that is like 2%. So they have that delivery cost slowly, if you notice, Zomato is adding it on. And now what is also happening is in this e-commerce aspect, the pricing is becoming dynamic. So if you have an iPhone, I did this experiment at home. I had an iPhone, my daughter had an old phone, my wife had a very old phone. And the same product, the same shampoo that you're buying on Amazon or Flipkart, we all got 3 different prices. For the same address, for the same house, because I had no money in my wallet, my daughter had no money in the wallet, it was the cheapest, she had the oldest phone, buy to their high. So pricing is becoming dynamic and they're going to pass on these costs in different buckets, names, whatever you want to call it. But it's already happening. So if you look at Zomato right now, they're going away from food delivery to grocery delivery from these dark stores. Zepto is one of the only few companies that have actually figured out how to make it sustainable and how to make it profitable. But they only deliver within 2 kilometers. Which brings me to the second part of this whole e-commerce thing. How do you manage inventory and how do you manage assortment? In Bhubaneswar for Zepto, if it is available here, you will be a very different set of products that you sell in a store as opposed to what you do in South Bombay or what you do in Chennai or what you do in Hyderabad. The demand will be the needs will be very different for different markets. So you have to hyper-personalize and hyper-localize. And that again requires a different set of skill set and different set of calculations. Right? So, as I said, as the speaker before me said, the last mile is the most expensive. It's extremely expensive. Just think about that bag I bought for 2 rupees coming to me. I mean, I did this. I bought a tea bag which came to me from Dibrugarh, Assam, all the way to Parel, Mumbai. It was ridiculous. I felt guilty about it. 150 rupee tea bag came across from 2,500 kilometers, which I would have just gone to make an Amazon. Right? The carbon footprint on that is just. So this will start coming up. I mean, I felt bad. I'm sure a lot of other people also. This is idiotic. It's coming from so far. As I said, the total delivery cost for remote location the last month is about almost 28%. About 60 rupees per delivery, 50%. My colleagues can give you a better number, they use day in and day out. It's very inefficient. You have 50% churn on delivery boys. And anyone's ever done a delivery personally on a Swiggy, Zomato, Amazon, gone to a warehouse? Ever? No one. I would highly recommend if you get time or you get something, go talk to to city interview boy. See how he goes through. Because you are the next generation, technocrats and business leaders, and you will be, taking their batons over from us to the next level how India works. If you do get time, go talk to us, ask him how that works. See it. Just be curious, and you will see they have this. Amazon calls it the rabbit app. Flipkart calls it something else. Swiggy has their own app that they can connect. The way it calculates, the way it takes your address, the way it does route planning. They have a whole mechanism of who gets how many deliveries. All of that is calculated. So everyone gets X amount of load or demand which is doctor, right? And you have to keep training these guys. So theft had reduced in the middle. Again, theft has again started in a big way. There are pin codes in Ghaziabad that companies don't deliver to. Because the guy buys an iPhone on cash on COD, walks in, runs up the house, goes to the other house another way, and the phone is gone. Right? So there are blacklisted pin codes all localities or buildings all over India. So it's called negative area marking. Loan companies also do this when they give home loans or auto loans or mobile phone loans, etc. So, but e-commerce will continue. So the next big thing is there is a mandate to all these companies, especially Flipkart, Walmart, and Amazon. They need to electrify their fleet. So the next big thing is you will start seeing most of the delivery guys. I'm already seeing it in Bangalore. Are going on these e-com or electric scooters. And the most important thing, the difference from electric scooter delivery to an IC engine delivery is, IC engine if you run out of petrol, you go to the petrol pump and you refill and you deliver again. In EV, these scooters have a range of 60, 70. So the ampere scooters, the slow speed scooters are 50 kilometers. The top of the line, Olas and Athers and Kiraj, etc. are about 100 kilometers, give or take something, right? So I have to do charging. Right? Now, I as Amazon, I as Swiggy, the first thing I need to know is how many scooters are there in the market which have the ability to, which have the range to deliver. So where do I drop my order? Like when I allocate a rider to that order which came from the internet, which rider do I give to? So that kind of thing, right? So all of these, so every time, so humans are interesting where we create our own demand and we create our own problem and we solve it ourselves. Right? And that's how our nature is. So e-commerce did just 15 years ago, now we're talking about it with 150, 200 people discussing. So we create our own ideas as innovation that we're talking about, and we create our own problems and we create our own solutions. And which keeps the economy running and keeps the process moving, right? But adoption to electric vehicles will happen in a big way. State governments and city municipalities are already mandating it, Delhi being the first city. And so that's when you guys come into the picture and you land up working in any of these e-com, quasi dark stores or online marketplaces, is something that you start seeing and you have to work with. And then the last one is customer complaints. All of us should ensure it. You get the wrong t-shirt, you get the wrong food, I ordered a biryani, I ordered chicken biryani. All of these things are part of the problem. To a good extent, I think we have been able to figure it out. So if you look at, there were no returns before Amazon came to India. There were no returns. Flipkart did not allow returns back in the day. Amazon has a global policy of 14-day return, and slowly they started reducing their 14-day, and then they reduced the number of items. Like, I know a friend of mine, she would buy like 14 salwar kurtas from Myntra, try it out, wear one to a party and talk with the others, and maybe keep one for 10 days and sell the rest back. And this will keep going up and down. And at some point, the e-commerce company said, you know what, customer service is important, but beyond the point, we can't afford it. So the last mile is evolved a lot. There are lots and lots of companies which are doing last mile deliveries. Amazon being the top leader, I would say they have reached pretty much everywhere there is to reach. There's a place called Simdega in Jharkhand. I don't know when you are aware of it. It's near Rashi. It's a tribal area. One of my mates, she's from that part of the world, and she wanted to send cooking oil to her mom and dad back in the village in Simdega. Not even Simdega, beyond Simdega. And there's no address. There's Simdega near something, some name. There's no pin code. There's literally no address, and it doesn't even show up on any map. I punched it in, and 3 days later, this oil ships from Calcutta, and my parents get it, and the payment settlement happened online from Bombay. So these things are amazing. So there was a blend from today's last mile and how it is kind of evolving. The beauty of e-commerce is it reduces the cost to especially rural areas. Urban you still have choice. Rural it becomes harder. Where I need to go buy a phone. If you look at the good example that came, and this doesn't come in any newspaper, this came in Wall Street Journal. So Ladakh, if you ever wanted to buy a Samsung phone or a Nokia phone or iPhone or whatever, it used to be 40% more expensive than Delhi. Because the buyer or the trader will go to Delhi, pick up a whole bunch of phones, take it to Ladakh and then sell it locally. Amazon added the pin code to the delivery system. Pricing will be 40%. So one of the interesting things is why we have not had the level of inflation that is happening rest of the world, because a lot of these big companies, the Olas, Uber, the Amazon, etc. of the world, have been able to reduce and make the market hyper competitive and hyper efficient. So think about it, you don't even get Starbucks coffee for 50 rupees, but you get a t-shirt 100 rupees. And someone is making money now. Right? So imagine the margin structures and the complexity, etc. that go into it, right? So what do I think of the future of the last mile delivery? Right? And if you look at from the future of the last mile delivery, connected as I was saying, you want visibility. You want to know where is your good. That's the most, normally you're always saying, okay, where have you reached? You're going somewhere in a friend says, good, where are you? Where have you reached? Where is your ETA? What's your location? So traffic engines in India is still very rudimentary. I built India's first traffic system. It's still very, very basic. I would not say it has, if you look at all the traffic maps, etc., pretty much all the same. And they're mostly wrong to me. Any kind of condition over 45 minutes, the traffic maps don't work because it doesn't work there. But connected vehicle information will be something that will be part of anything and everything. All these vehicles, sensors, all will start connecting. How you harness this information and standardize it, and you're able to broadcast this messaging will become, whoever does it better will be more efficient. On-demand vehicle customization, so routing. You may have specific drivers who want to drive at particular times of the day, and all of those things are still a long way to go. It's not fully optimized yet, right? And so that will become more and more efficient. Today, it's not like, let's say, if you look at China is another level, right? On e-commerce last mile delivery, you don't have to use the delivery person. So what happens is, let's say you buy something from Alibaba in China, and you drive from, I don't know, airport to here in Bhubaneswar kind of place, and you can actually share your trunk of your car, and you get an OTP code, and you open the trunk and they keep your package, and you go to your office, and another OTP opens the trunk and you get 10 rupees for it, because you would use your SD card or your bike, whatever, to bring the package. When this discussion came out with these e-commerce guys in India, their first reaction was, they'll put some content and bomb and car and all. Initially, that's how the discussion started. But eventually, because it's so efficient and so cheap, everything gets used to it. It's a habit. And so a lot of these innovations which you don't see, like Ola and Uber didn't exist 10 years ago. It's a way of life now. Rapido did not exist some years ago. Now again, it's a way of life. So a lot of these things will get more and more efficient, and you will reduce them. One vehicle customized. Integrated delivery systems. So all of these popping batteries, real-time information, everyone has a mobile phone, as long as internet is cheap, right? Internet is very cheap in India. But that price also will go up. That internet price today, if you look at the top-up rates of a mobile phone, in COVID time it used to be about 90, 100 rupees, give or take some. Today it's come to about 250 rupees for monthly top-up on all the Jios and Airtels and Vodafone, etc. So that number will go to 700 rupees in a few years, or 800 rupees. So slowly, so that cost will be passed on. So pricing will increase to some level, right? But and how you have the feedback and communication. So order confirmation processing. So these are all works in progress. And I never thought that anyone can disrupt an Amazon or a Swiggy, but Zepto has gone and done that. I mean, they're still, the way they are growing, it is mind-boggling. And like I have not bought an Amazon for the last 4 months, I think. And I don't need, it's too late, it's too slow. It takes long time for it to come. I'd have to go to a Blinkit or a Instamart or a Zepto, which is able to do gifts and all kind of things, and they also learn. So the business model has to change for all these companies because the customers will be more and more demanding at scale. So where do you think we're going next? I truly believe drones will work very well in India. For a variety of reasons. My colleague didn't agree, but he said we send 100 drones and 1,000 drones and 999 will not come back. Maybe it initially happened for the first 3 or 4 months, but eventually you start coming back. And there's a reason for that. Today, if I want to do a delivery, very expensive, right? I say 40 rupees, 50 rupees, 60 rupees. India, two things work: convenience and cost. These are the two primary drivers of system in India. And India is a dense country. India is not a country like US or Europe. We have millions of people living in small square kilometers. So it is very, very cost effective to use drones. So you have air maps, You'll have building maps, you have balcony maps, all of these things will start coming up. Amazon has been trying this in UK for a while now, about 7 years. They're fine-tuning it. India's drone policy is already in place. If you notice, about 3-4 years ago, India's drone policy got implemented. And lots of drone companies have gone public, funded, all kinds of things. So there is, and drones are already a way of life today. If you go to any wedding in India, small town in a village, or you go to a 5-star in Bombay, there is a drone room. Sorry. And so drone is again integral part of it. All of us, I'm sure you also have a drone function of your campus. Someone must have made a video of your campus using a drone. I'm sure. We all colleges in India have it. So drones are becoming more and more prevalent, and people are becoming more and more comfortable with it. And now the question is, so the first drone delivery that happened was in Mumbai. I think there was a pizza guy who delivered from Bhubaneswar to Parel. Bhubaneswar to Parel is a very interesting state. It's one of the richest neighborhoods in India. And the distance is only 1.5 kilometers. Okay, across 2 train lines, and it's a British era bridge, with 1 lane going, 1 lane coming. It takes 45 minutes. But the average cost price of a house, a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, runs from 5 crores to 16 crores. So this is relatively rich, right? All the CXOs of India are there. So this guy, this small guy, is a levy driver to he was arrested after that. But he's a levy driver to a pizza delivery, and it took 3 minutes. Literally, put the pizza, the guy on the other side received it in 3 minutes of pizza ready. For a delivery boy to pick it up, even Domino's or whatever the mode of pizza, whatever pizza guy was, it take 45 minutes, then you do a chai break, then you roam around, then you come back. It's too inefficient. And it takes too much money. It is much, much cheaper to deliver by drone. In multiples of almost 10x, if you do the math. And at scale, it becomes very, very cheap. So these things will start coming in. So now what happens as drones come in, people will start hitting the drone. There are technologies for that also, that you have a catapult and you bring the drone down. So you repair it, it'll hurt people. Privacy will be a big problem because the drones start flying around and all of us live in multi-story buildings, all the windows are open and drones are cameras and all kinds of things. You will not be very comfortable for a drone coming into your building complex. So a lot of, and government will mandate it because the traffic on roads in India, average speed in India is falling by almost 1.5 kilometers every year. 1.5 kilometers per hour every year. So I have done this math calculation for Bangalore. Bangalore average speed used to be about 20 kilometers an hour about 10 years ago, which is pathetic by global standard, but good by Indian standard. Now it's I think about 6 kilometers an hour. You can walk at about 5.5, right? So it is becoming worse and worse, and we are consuming about, this year we consume about 4 million 4-wheelers, approximately, 1 million trucks and buses, about 5 million there, and about 70 million 2-wheelers. And we don't scrap. In other countries abroad, we scrap it after 10 years. We don't scrap. So your number of vehicles will just keep increasing, and all of India is kind of concentrated into 4 cities. Delhi NCR, Delhi to Meerut, massive Delhi NCR, Mumbai Metro, Bangalore. Bangalore city is now going to become one city pretty much in the next 7-8 years. Hyderabad. It's about 7-8 cities is most of where the Indian population lives. So it's getting denser. So there will be policy changes at a municipality level, at a RWA level, at a central government, state government level. So a lot of these technologies will change. So that's it. These are my thoughts. As you guys, how many of you have worked before coming for the business school here? That's good. All of you have some experience. Yeah, that's good. So as my colleague before said, this is something I would advise. I was there 25 years ago. As you go into your first job, your second job, try to understand the process. Understand what is the profit driver for that organization. How do they make money? And see if you can align with that profit driver. Either from a technical point of view, or from a process point of view, or from a sales point of view, or marketing point of view. How does this organization make money? Every day, an organization's purpose is to make business, is to make money. They are not there for a charity. Their whole purpose is to make profit. That's how I get salary. That's how others get money. Right? It's a for-profit venture. So in that for-profit venture, as you know, as young MBA graduates, try to understand what is the process that, whether it's a physical good or a digital good, or just fancy machine learning, AI, and whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, it's still doing something. It is feeding you a picture online, or it is delivering something to you. Whether it's reverse logistics or whatever name you want to call it, but understand the process and map it out. And do this in the first 3 months of whichever organization you work with. And figure out what's the profit drivers, cost drivers, and revenue drivers for the organization. And see if you can be part of it. And then the rest will be good. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. industry experience and is the co-founder of Xpiro, a technology sales and advisory firm specializing in telecom and enterprise solutions. Additionally, he is the founder of Prism Consulting, a firm dedicated to business process transformation, enhancing operational efficiency and optimizing cost productivity. His journey since 2012 has involved activity outsourcing, cost exposure management, contracting, governance, and supply chain process transformation across diverse markets. Prior to this, Sir served as Principal Supply Chain Officer and Vice President at Bharti Airtel Limited, where he had pan-India supply chain management and was responsible for delivery through 180 plus teammates positioned across India. So join hands in welcoming Sir. Sir, we request you to join us on the stage.
I am just in the nick of the morning, another 8 minutes to go. So I thought let me just do something which is different. Everybody wishes to morning, let me say namaskar. And I really feel privileged to be once again here. I came here last year. I'm visiting an institute after I calculated yesterday night 372 days. And the moment I walked up the stage, I still felt that youth, what you are all representing. My heart started thumping. My goosebumps, I started having those goosebumps. And I felt, I think let's have this session, which is not only me delivering back to you, but also learning from this whole forum and the forum. Because as some of the speakers talked about, you are the millennia kids, and you are supposed to do the change, right? I firmly believe because whatever we have learned in life, most of them has gone into obsolescence. But to be relevant, we keep on scratching each other's back. And today also in this session, I think I had the opportunity to learn from Mr. Raju, Mr. Dev, and Shiva. And I feel lucky because at the end of the day, what I am going to deliver today, the whole perspective is built on me as a consumer of e-commerce, what I felt should be right and what I felt should be innovated. Second is as a supply chain practitioner, which are those small plugs which I need to do to fix this jigsaw puzzle. And third, of course, few of the crowdsourced information, which I am actually putting a disclaimer because these crowdsourced information are nothing but the numbers which I want to flash, which is going to excite you. So my presentation starts with what is the landscape of e-commerce in India as of 2023. Post that we will talk about what is that one key basic fundamentally big gap which is creating so much of hustle bustle in terms of last mile delivery and business logistics. You have heard the other presenters and they were absolutely the subject matter experts who have been handling day in and day out. I can only give you a 50-feet perspective of what I feel should be done next. And most of my presentation is nothing but a consolidation of what you all have already presented. Coincidentally, it so happened that the presentation has turned out in such a fashion and my delivery is at the end, so it's more like a consolidating what you all have talked. Right? So this is what is the landscape. We are currently about 143 crores population, growing at the rate of 0.8% year on year. So that is the scale of market what you are going to expect in next maybe 5, 7, 8, 10 years. Right? Out of which about 36% is in urban, which are mostly our focus area, which contributes to approximately about 52 crores of population, may not be the household. If you want to have a household, you need to divide it by 3.5 or maybe 4.
to derive at the households. So many, and currently also, as some of our co-presenters talked about, the households, in household also, you do not know from the other room what your wife is actually buying and what your son is buying and what you are buying. So finally you understand when your credit card is charged. Right. So in terms of the serviceable codes, I heard Shiva talking about codes or PIN codes and how difficult and how misaligned in India we have. If you see, as per postal numbers, we have about 157,000 PIN codes. Out of that 157,000 PIN codes, 59 PIN codes have post offices with resources. 16,000 are only post boxes. And balance is vacant, which they want to fill up in 22-25. Okay. Now, if I look at what is the number of PIN codes we are servicing from e-commerce, it's approximately 27,000. So you see the opportunity and the gap. How much we can do. Now the next line, I have just given, it's actually a queue in terms of how many are structured addresses. Look, why last line is not happening, we talked about routing, all these are solutions to routing. The problem is, we have actually not geocoded our addresses. They're still in PIN codes. We have approximately about 30% of our addresses which are geocodes. That means with lat long. Then only a routing will happen now. If I just give a PIN code and it's a wrong PIN code, I stay in Gurgaon. My PIN code is 1222018. But most of the people code 122011001. Just like in donation. You give a second GPO number and just forget it. Let it be a task for the delivery guy to search where I am. And let him come and meet me and deliver the product. Right? Then in terms of shipments fulfilled per day, we are currently at 15 million shipments a day. The projected numbers for 25 is approximately double of this number. Right? In terms of shipment growth volumes from last year to this year, it's approximately 26%. I am showing this slide just to show you the vastness of opportunity in this field. Now, if you see, these are the opportunities. You can increase the total addressable market, because if you see, we are at 36% of the urban population, but we are not able to even cater to them. So you can increase the STAM beyond 36%. So you need to segment the market, you need to have different innovation, different solutions, how to address those recipients or customers who are yet to avail this e-commerce fund. Then you have online shoppers, which is expected to grow up to about 350 million. In terms of this 350 million, if you just think of 35 crores a month online shoppers. You see the kind of big data is going to play in this whole game. What kind of information you're going to churn and actually converge them to ensure that you have a sustainable delivery at the correct place at the right time. I think, okay. Now, what is the problem statement? As I told you, we don't have geocoded addresses, and we actually have the PIN codes. And most of the time, these PIN codes don't direct us to the correct address. What happens in turn, as an impact, you actually start losing profitability because you start pushing so much of effort into rework. Not finding the place, calling the customer, rerouting it, delivering it at the wrong place, all these things happen. Then the next is you actually have a question mark on the brand trust because the end customer feels, anyway boss, I have put the ATM card into this e-commerce platform. Now it's the responsibility of that e-commerce platform that is somehow reaching. And I start bad mouthing, boss, this guy doesn't deliver. as I think Mr. Raju was also talking in terms of how do you create this visibility of when it is getting shipped and where is it now. If you see the difference between, as of now, Amazon and others, at least in Amazon you have more or less a 2 hours or 4 hours update in terms of the shipments or the tracking mechanism. Whereas others, it's once in a day or maybe once or twice in a day. So you feel anxious because for you it's a gift. You're not seeing, it's a surprise. You want to open the box and see how do I experience it. Right? And third is the customer satisfaction. So what is this all about? This is all going to impact your P&L. And business is only about P&L, nothing else. It's not to do with innovation, it's not to do with anything. Unless you earn for the day, it's not done. So these are the relevant challenges for the last mile e-commerce. I think I will not dwell on this because most of the speakers have already talked about it. I don't want to repeat it. Now, this I felt is an important slide. E-commerce fulfillment landscape is ever changing as a part of innovation program. Now, you have 3 gears in this. First, the biggest one is the consumer, who decides the aspiration, who decides the expectation, what it wants, what's the need. And then you guys actually build a process around it to satisfy the customer. And to scale those processes, you need a technology. So these are the 3 wheels, major wheels, which I personally feel is actually driving your innovations. Because there is a crisis, there is an innovation. If there is no crisis, no need, no innovation. If I am complacent, I'm fine. If I feel notified, I can walk from here to the airport every time. I don't need a car. So I don't innovate. I don't want innovation in that vehicular segment itself. I can walk because I am complacent. Now what I'm doing, I am actually trying to scale my own time. Can I squeeze my time? Reach the, so do my job. Don't waste whatever is not meant for me. I'm not supposed to walk during our business hour. I'm supposed to practically fly because time is so important, so precious. That's what I do. So here, if you see, what are the customer needs? He needs a hyper-personalization. Somebody, I think, talked about hyper-personalizations, right? He needs same-day delivery. He needs experiential shopping. As of now in e-commerce, you don't have an experiential shopping except for few products. Okay? And then the product quality assurance. These are his primary needs as of today. Now, what is the process we need to do? We need to ensure the process which is agile, which is sustainable, which is predictable, and what did I write next? I forgot. Scalable. Yeah. Now, to handle or to organize all this process which should work seamlessly and which is not dependent on human error, I need to have certain technology interventions which automates all those things which are repetitive in nature. Humans are still needed for taking decisions and exceptions. That's why I always say natural intelligence is a notch above the artificial intelligence. Because artificial intelligence algo is also made by man. Right? So your brain or your hand should not do what is repetitive. Think of putting algos, think of putting logics, and start looking at which are those steps which can be automated. Okay? So what are the things which are actually coming up in the technology field? You have heard about AI, you have heard about ML, you have heard about blockchain, you have heard about AR, VR, which is that one company who sells its e-commerce product through a AR, VR technology? Yes. that's where you start feeling, okay, fine, if I wear this, if I put the spec like this, how do I look? So this is the experiential mind. Okay. So if you see, when we talked about the customer behavior side, we talked about experiential shopping, and I feel that AR, VR integration has to happen. In whichever, it need not to be in grocery, but it need to be in certain things which is valuable. Right? You should start thinking about it. Then in terms of big data analytics, we heard a few of our co-presenters also talking about, I think the whole world has moved towards data-driven decisions. Nothing pure data. And most of you, yesterday also I think I was speaking to some of your students out here, people are now from data trend analysis to Power BI. That is migration. This is a new thing, huh? Power BI. But you still need a practitioner who creates an insight out of that trend. And that's what we all have been repeatedly saying. You have to drill yourself. You have to brush yourself. You have to burn yourself on the street to understand what is the actual step, what is the time motion study, what are the difficulties, what are the challenges which can happen. And then once you created this risk register for that action, you start mitigating or creating those small tools which is going to actually mitigate and solve those problems. Right? So blockchain is something which actually gives you something to do with assurance of the product. It takes care of counterfeiting. आपने मंगाया एक Ferrari pen. I was a customer once upon a time. I thought there is a Ferrari pen, 1,000 rupees. I was so happy. Oh my God, 1,000 rupees on Ferrari fountain pen and light. I ordered it, and when it came, it was not returnable. When it came, it said that the seller was from Faridabad. The pen was of plastic. It was worse than a particle pen. And I couldn't do a hell because I didn't have energy to again go back and do it, because finally the platform owner has a disclaimer where he says, if you have any problem, your problem is with the seller. I'm having a limited liability for this transaction. I'm just giving a platform for the seller and buyer to have fun. I don't own any responsibility. So how do you bring the assurance? That is through blockchain. And just to give an example, forget about these, which are these kind of inorganic products. People have gone ahead and started doing blockchain in agro, right from sowing to harvesting to processing to packaging to ultimate delivery. And that's what I think we all are running on. This was my last night's introduction, because when I was talking to few of the students, I felt there was a huge focus on reverse logistics. So I quickly scratched my mind, did some Google search here and there to validate my hypothesis, and tried to put something out here. So what is reverse logistics? It's not only just picking a material from a customer who doesn't want to take it. There's a whole lot of process which goes behind, as most of us talked about it. But what are the triggers of a reverse logistics? So you see, a trigger can be changed in customer need. I have put a requirement. All of a sudden I felt, ये सामान तो मेरे घर में भी पड़ा हुआ है, why should I order? And by the time the shipment is already happened, because nowadays if you see, shipments are practically in 24 hours, 6 hours, 2 hours, whatever number, and then you have it again. You may have a delay in order fulfillment, because if it is delayed, it's denied. I can get things from somewhere else. Third is wrong item received. And fourth is item received in bad or non-workable condition. Here I have not categorically written that the intent of the customer who wants to return, because Myntra is somebody who has been having this problem from time immemorial. People order material, they dress up for the event, come back from the event, pack it and say, boss, next again. So that's a wrong intent. Okay. So these are the triggers, right? Now if you see this trigger, which is a addressable trigger and which are the non-addressable triggers? From an e-commerce standpoint, customer need, you can't do a hell about it. Okay? Because he is the master of his own mind, he can change anytime. Now if you see delaying fulfillment, wrong item received in bad condition. This is all to do with the forward logistics. If you have a governance mechanism and a concept of first time right and systems which are working to ensure you perform in those scales of 12 million, 25 million deliveries or shipments a day, then I think all these things will be out. You're always with one. And you know how much is the kind of the reverse logistics cost per se which contributes to the overall frame? It's approximately about 16 to 20%. And like everybody told, it's something which nobody wants to pick up. They want to just shell out. Even the warehouse guy feels that I should handle new items here. I am not in the particular. Now, what is this reverse logistics all about? It's actually an amalgamation of so many interlinked, closed-loop processes. So it involves a set of coordinated tasks, which is inspection first. When the guy comes to pick it up, he first sees, have you physically damaged it, or you really don't want it, or it is damaged at the point of receipt. Re-evaluation of the product condition. Then return to the seller. And then decision making on restocking the retailer. This is all what an e-commerce guy does. And what are these activities? These are cost of non-performance. Because I didn't do it first time right, I started having these issues. And it can be not because of e-commerce alone. It can be because of the product inherent quality as well. So what kind of assurance, because once we are going in such large scale, it's very difficult to do 100% sampling when you are going to get the products. So how are you building those whole assurance process of the seller and pulling them inside or certifying the delivery guys, making them approved delivery guys who should go and stock and deliver and handle the boxes accordingly? It all matters. And it's a huge kind of plethora of activities like an industry by itself to manage logistics. Each step requires, the last line I don't want to repeat it. So I think more or less that's what I felt. I'll just quickly go through it because I saw most of you still not coming out in terms of too much of doses since morning. So I thought I'll just quickly enter your mind in terms of what the numbers look like. And the amount of activity you can think of, I can slowly get down to this on the customer side, on the customer behavior side. These are all areas where you need to have solutions to mitigate these aspirations of the customer. You can use anything. It can be technology, as Dave also told. It can be process. It can be, he talked about Kaizen. It can be absolutely small elementary changes at your workplace, which creates something which is absolutely magical at that moment. Or it can be innovation which gives you a step down. So I tried to close it in 20 minutes sharp. So I have done it. Didn't waste because that was my last slide. So I didn't want to waste any of my time and your time. But I think it was absolutely wonderful to have you here. But one small request, like last time, we had good interactive sessions. So I would expect that you guys should start calling questions on us. And start, because it gives me pleasure to see so many guys with work ex of at least, and yesterday when I interacted, I came to know people have worked ex up to 5 years. So you already have a ground knowledge, and you should keep on throwing the darts here. And let's see how much we can clarify your doubts and how much we take back home and come back again. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So now, we would like to open the platform for questions. I request the students to raise their hand, introduce themselves, and ask their questions.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vishnu Sahu from the BM batch of 2023-2025. So my question is for Mr. Devendra Mukherjee. As you are a certified enterprise lean champion, so what are the lean principles that we can adopt in the e-commerce segment in order to improve the cost efficiency and the lead time reduction, and also for the better quality production of the goods?
Thanks. See, the concept of Japanese are same. Correct. You need to you need to know the value. So Japanese are more focused on value. Correct. So whether it is e-commerce or pharma or automotive, you need to know what is Muri. There are two concepts of Toyota. You should see. I need to understand the value first. Correct. Each and everywhere you have a different kind of value. So you need to understand the process. You need to understand when the process is generating the value. So I'll give an example like in e-commerce, when I am unloading the car. Correct. Unloading is not giving me a value, but unless until I am not putting it into the location and scanning it. So unless until the part is not in the system, customer is not going to count how much you have unloaded. Correct. I need to see the reduction. So if you talk about quality, there are two parts. When you are either it is speed or it's a quality, correct? So you need to understand the end-to-end in supply chain. And the first part is you need to understand how many steps are there which are required. So there are three parts in Toyota which they say it's a value-added, non-value-added, essential non-value-added, correct? And you need to understand the concept of these three parts, and then you need to identify if in my process, if I have 150 steps, correct, from end to end, if you have 150 steps, which step comes under the value addition, essential non-value added, and non-value added. Understood? And then you have to see what are those kaizens I can do to remove it. Like, do I need to replace it and I remove it? Do really I need to, I can convert this into the Power BI or Excel kind of thing there, or the QR codes, or the technology, so that you can use that 150 steps to 120 or 100 steps, correct? And that's how gradually you can go up. That's one part is your, when you are talking about your capacity, correct? So the capacity calculation is another thing. In every sector, whenever you are going, you need to know what is the capacity of this particular process, each and every process, and then you need to find out the bottleneck. So in Toyota, there are three major parts. One is Muri, then value addition, essential non-value addition, and then non-value addition, right? And then there is a bottleneck. So you every time you need to find out the bottleneck. When you improve it, you will find another process will get out bottleneck. So bottleneck will get changed time to time. And that's how you have to understand. The second part is the quality part. Again, whenever you are going into quality, there is a saying, quality is free. You are paying someone to make an error and then to correct it. Quality is free. But the people, those who are doing that activity, whether they are properly skilled, have you assured everything, have you trained them, unless until you are not going into that part, you cannot improve that. If I will analyze a data through Six Sigma, and there is a part of process improvement. Okay? So you have to focus on improvement process. So when you make assure your process is very you have checked everything, your process is completely fixed, then you will see the quality, you will automatically will get the quality. So you need to see the error proofing system, so people will not, and for that you have to do a failure mode effect analysis. So FME is a more important part. When you are focusing everywhere, you go in any industry, automotive, anything. So when the process is moving, for quality you should do a failure mode for each and every process. What are those modes where it can be failed, and how you can fix it through manual or through automation. And for speed, you can use your Muramuri and ENV and that part. And that's how you can do your both the steps.
Good afternoon, sir. My question is to entire panel. Sir, as Shivalik sir mentioned about how he felt about the T-bag, and Partha sir mentioned that our average logistic cost is much higher than the global average. So, sir, my question is, how is companies trying to strike a balance between environmental conscious of customers and profitability?
So, being environmentally conscious is actually very profitable. So, just to give you an idea, like let's say if you drive a diesel vehicle, like a passenger car, it costs you approximately 10 rupees to 14 rupees a kilometer. You would 9 rupees to 14 rupees. Electric scooter is 50 paisa a kilometer. Right? So automatically it's environmentally friendly also, and it is much more cost effective. It is much cheaper. Right? Similarly, if I can reduce my packaging as well, talking about in the delivery in cardboard boxes or whatever. So if you look at now, a lot of the delivery for e-com happens in something called totes, these plastic boxes. It doesn't come in these big, like. And I remember I was pushing a lot of the guys personally to Amazon, the head of sustainability. Why do you sell one big dabba with all the plastic and there's one item inside of it? It's ridiculous. And there was a lot of debate on this. So they also cut the cost because they have to pay. So everyone who bought shares in a cardboard box company about 10 years ago did quite well, by the way. So if you reduce that, that's a cost to them. No? So being environmentally conscious is actually very profitable. Same for solar power, electricity, everything.
Thank you, sir.
I would like to add something maybe for the youngsters. So we hear about the renewable sources of energy. And typically the names come as a wind energy, solar energy, maybe geothermal, maybe tidal waves and all that. But you have to understand, in the long run, and with a high scale, nothing is renewable. For example, the solar panels, they will last for about 20 years. I'm just saying a number. After that, what happens? Because the solar panels today use hazardous material. They are definitely not biodegradable. And they will create a problem in future. Why I'm saying this is, when plastic was first introduced as a packaging material, long time back, few decades back, everybody's very happy. My God, now the papers are being used less. That means the trees will be cut less, and the entire planet is saved now. Let's see today what has happened. The microplastics have invaded even the brains of people and animals. Talk of wind energy, the turbine blades have a limited life. Again, 10 years, 15 years, depending on what kind of operations. And then the blades have to be cut up and kind of dumped like a nuclear waste, put in a sort of underground repository or something. They don't integrate. So whenever you're talking of renewable resources, think of electric vehicle again. It's being hyped as a pollution kind of avoiding situation. But let's say I jump into electric vehicle and the share goes up to 50%. I'm just taking a number. Then what will happen is more electricity is required for charging those batteries. The batteries are again has hazardous material, and electricity generation even today is not very clean. So all it happens is the pollution that happens in the city through diesel cars, the decentralized manner, gets shifted in a centralized manner to a different zone. So all I'm trying to say is you need to find a fine balance between the kinds of approaches looking at sustainable way of doing business.
Good afternoon. I'm Oishi Bhattacharya from the batch of 25. My question is addressed to the entire panel. Considering the changes in the consumer taste and preferences and long-term market trends, how do you plan to secure sustainability for your e-commerce business? Long-term sustainability, to be precise.
I think that's already shared in your topic of the day, which is innovation. You have to consistently keep on innovating to manage and map customers' need, because customers' mind is just like an amoeba, is so fluid, you do not know. Like I always say that every resource is predictable except for human resource. Because as we both are communicating, I don't know what is going in your mind and you don't know what is going in my mind. Right? But when it's a machine, it's so predictable. I know if the gear moves like this, the next gear has to move like this. So you have to have that consistent, I think innovation is too big a word, as we've talked about. You have to be on that mode of Kaizen. Looking at small elements which are the gaps, trying to mitigate them, and you will be always sustainable. Typically what happens when you talk about a technology product, when the product is casted, the architecture is made. It's made for a long haul. Okay? So the features are decided, the feature roadmap may be for about 5 to 10 years on the application layer. But I am creating the architecture today, but I will drop the features as and when I see my competition catching up. I just don't give up my USPs. I only wait for the competition. So you have to be always ahead of the curve in terms of innovation. And that's what I think will keep you sustainable. It's not only e-commerce, it's any commerce. Thank you.
I want to add to that. If you look at from a sustainability point of view, the biggest in e-commerce and the biggest profit margin for the e-com companies are fashion, fast fashion, right? And the amount of clothes that get bought runs into hundreds of billions of items worldwide, right? And but there is this whole drive now, at least I've seen this in New York recently or San Francisco, where people are not buying new clothes. They're exchanging clothes. There's a whole new platforms coming up. They say, I wore this t-shirt, I wore this shirt, I bought a bit, it's pretty good. I'll sell it you for some amount of money. And you sell me yours. So trading platforms are coming up. So a lot of these things, as people become more aware of the environment or consciousness improves and it becomes cool, automatically solutions will kick in. Innovation is a bit of a complicated subject, but to give a couple of stories around, long time back when Microsoft started their Windows operating system, if you purchase one, it will come with a printed user manual, a thick set of books, 2 or 3 sets of books, how to set up the machine, then some problem solving tools and all that. Then somebody in the Microsoft thought that look, what a customer needs is how to get the machine up. The rest of the things can be the machine itself. That all the thick volumes of paper that are sending can be avoided. And they save few grams of weightage in that entire package. And top of millions of dollars, millions of what operating system being sent out, it was quite a big saving. Similarly happens in the airlines. In-flight magazines. One airline made them few pages less and a thinner paper to be printed. Now, grams of saving in one magazine, and there are so many magazines, and there are so many flights. So annually they save millions of dollars in fuel and their costs. So innovation is kind of a tricky one. It can be done in the lab and push it out, or it can be done through customers pulling it out and then try to satisfy the customer requirement.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashwamedh. I am BPM, batch of 2025. So my question is to Devendra sir. As per you stressed quite I wanted to know your views on the issues revolving around the online grocery sector. So what we recently saw in this sector, that companies ran into a frenzy of delivering items in 30 minutes, then 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and then 10 minutes. And eventually we also came across a controversy, a debate that is it even safe for the delivery guys? That they are delivering, it's such a stressful job already, and even 10-minute delivery, it's high chances of getting into accident. So do you think that this sector, this line of business is sustainable? At the same time, if yes, then what is the future, as even Shivalik sir said, that he has not used Amazon for the last 2 months. So these are two completely different lines of business, and hence what is the future in this sector?
So the first part is when you asked about the grocery and the delivery boys, correct? So that's what I'm like nowadays the competition and demand is increasing, correct? People are used to it now. So they want everything at their doorstep. Nobody wants to go outside, correct? And this is what is the demand of customer you can't predict. And nowadays, as you see, when accidents are increasing, when your food quality is too poor, you are calling to a delivery boy, please come at my doorstep first, and then you can move, and he is saying, sir, no, someone else is also calling. Then more and more people are coming, more and more traffic, and they are in stress, and that's what, when I started my presentation, I said sustainability means what? Alone you can't help to be sustainable. You need to be with your workforce, you have to understand them. That's what maximum utilization. You are consuming its maximum, correct? They are in stress. So you have to work with the optimum utilization. So in competition, if you are going like this, you can't survive more. And if you see in grocery, there are a number of startups, those who they came into the market and now they are nowhere, correct? And that is the reason. Because in grocery, you have to see the Indian culture also, correct? People want to see the product, grocery, and then only they want to choose it. So they feel it's better and fresh. When I was in Bangalore, I used those e-carts kind of where I was getting the grocery early in the morning. You just hand your your amount in your that app, amount in your app, and then you are purchasing something early in the 6 morning to 6 a.m. you can find out all your stuffs are there, and we are saying we are calling that's a poor quality. I don't need. Now again it will go reverse, and what you have to do again, you are going to the local shop and then you are getting the grocery, correct? And in grocery you have so many other parts also, they are quality products, correct? It's a directly consumption. We said you are not consuming, but grocery you are consuming. You understand? So when it's directly the risk, again I am saying the risk part, right? So whenever you are touching any grocery, you need to see what is the and the risk of that. If it gets failed, if you are delivering because your demand is high, correct? So people are asking you something, some particular grocery product, and in a competition you have the same market, correct? So you can't get that from so much kilometer. You need within that particular city area, and you have to choose those particular part, correct? And then you are going to the shop, you are purchasing, and then you are packing it and sending it. And if the product quality is not good, Indian families, they are never going to touch that product, correct? They want it back, and your money. And actually you are losing your money in that case. So that's one part. That industry has to take care of this, and that is the reason now they are struggling into grocery. Even when, if you remember, a time was there when Reliance Fresh came into picture, and then people were saying that the local shops now is no more, correct? Now they are coming into the local shops that, can you help us to distribute those parts? So there are something which you have to, it will take time. But yes, there is a competition and people are, industry are still struggling.
Thank you.
Just chipping into what Mr. Muthil mentioned, see, the success of these grocery stores depends a lot on the mom and pop stores as well. The local kirana wala, the local trade merchants, etc. The concept of the grocery retail
was really founded keeping tier 2 and tier 3 cities in mind. It was not meant really for tier 1 cities. Now tier 2 and tier 3 still are continuing, not exactly the way that you mentioned. Like we do a lot of grocery for Flipkart, in Flipkart. But we only closed down the tier 1 cities. The warehouses are closed, they have stopped the businesses. But tier 2 and tier 3 are still continuing. But the mom and pop stores are able to serve the customers much better. And the general feeling amongst customers is that there's a simpler process and a faster process by which we can ensure that the right type of orders are catered to by them and in a quicker manner as compared to the e-com online stores.
Right, thank you. When we talk of compressed delivery time like 10 minutes, listen up. I'll tell you the joke. The speakers who have experienced that era, that if you want to buy a two-wheeler scooter, you have to wait for 15 years. You have money, you want to buy a particular scooter, the wait time is 15 years. Which means you book now, make all the payment, and then after 15 years you get the delivery. In the process, you can understand how the entire supply chain gets buggered up. So there's a lot of black money, a lot of forward booking happens because that used to happen on big dowry and marriages. So if your daughter's marriage is fixed and you need a scooter to give us a dowry, you hunt for a in the black market. Anyway, one of the days, maybe about 10 minutes delivery.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Ritik from DM batch of 25. My question is addressed to Mr. Shivalik. So you talked about Zepto and how well the quick commerce products are doing, and you also mentioned about the products like e-commerce, like when value is very concentrated, those products do well, like jewelry or say like jewelry or mobile phones. But for Zepto, like a lot of the products that they sell are groceries, which the value is not very concentrated, and reverse logistics is also very difficult because they are perishables. So, do you really see a future in that, or do you see these things coming on quick delivery platforms?
I would like to use me as an example, and I'm always one of the first users of all of this technology. I like experimenting. I have a own email address in Gmail, I have the first 100 Instagram account users worldwide, etc. So if you look at a thing like Zepto, Swiggy, Zomato, whatever it is, right? Most of India is very young. So you guys are the country, right? And the average age is quite young. You are digital first born. You're born. Most of the people who are in their 20s or 25, they've seen internet since they were 10 years old, right? Or even the kids today at the age of 1 or 2 are using YouTube comfortably. So, as I said, convenience and cost are the two criteria that drive all business, right? So, 10-minute delivery is convenient. I would like it. Is the quality good enough or not good enough? That's a very valid point. I may like the tomatoes, I may not like the tomatoes, but if you go to most of the urban city centers in India, husband and wife are both working. No one is going to go looking at the quality of food. No one has time. Okay, because you're working 18 hours, 14 hours a day. So you want something quick. You're missing something, you order it from one of these guys. What they have done is very interesting. Two things. One, their delivery area is very small. So 2-3 kilometers, not more than that, right? They don't, they're very, very defined delivery areas. So the deliveries are much faster. And you don't have to drive, like if you look at Swiggy kind of thing, they were there 14 kilometers to deliver food, about before COVID, right? It's too long, you can never make money on that delivery, right? 2-3 kilometers, 1 kilometer, very possible. That's one. So 10 minutes is happening. Secondly, what these guys are also doing, if you look at companies like Zomato, they have a whole Zomato B2B business. So they know the demand patterns of how much this shop is buying rice and dal and what is the demand pattern. So they are cutting out the middleman and they are also directly, they're going to the manufacturer, right? So they are actually, they are contract farming with the actual farms. So they're trying to squeeze out their margins. So they're also getting better and better and better, right? Initially they'll start to buy from the local mandi, they'll deliver this, so there's a lot of demand for tomatoes or bindi or whatever in this particular zone. Now, can I backward integrate it and can I buy my own bindi? Everyone does that, right? That's why table goods that Amazon does, Walmart does, or Flipkart does. Like Vintra, right? They always don't push their own products. opposed to buying with a more margin. So eventually, as it becomes better and better, and as far as I know, I'm not sure, but a lot of these independent delivery guys are quite profitable at a dark store level. Where the cost structures are much better.
But like the value, as you said, the value to volume ratio for a lot of goods are not very high.
It's quick, right? The delivery, the rotation is very fast.
Thank you.
You're correct. If I talk about diamond jewelry, very costly diamond jewelry, possibly a purchaser will go to a different approach than let's say grocery level, where one to buy doesn't make a difference.
Good afternoon, sir. So, I'm Arun Kumar Seder from XIM MBA BM batch of 2025. So, I have a question like since the shipping industry is constantly evolving. So, is there any scope where the shipping industry would be like a vessel would be unmanned in the future? This question for Rajasthan. Could you please repeat the question again? The last part of it. Is there any future when the vessel would be unmanned? No, not yet. The reason is very simple because these are huge ships and the total sum value of the cargo on these ships are absolutely unimaginable. And there are plenty of other ships going. It's not like your Maersk selling his vehicles, unmanned vehicles across. These are valued ships carrying huge amount of cargo. And it's very difficult to imagine, at least in the next future, that you're going to have unmanned vessels carrying cargo across. Secondly, we are not equipped to have on the ships sailing through from one port to the other port totally unmanned because there are a number of variables through which the ship has to be taken care of. It's not easy to install your roadside signals or they have the electronic sensors, etc., on roads to ensure that it follows proper routing, etc. So, any length of imagination, at least in the next near future, you're going to have unmanned vessels.
Good, sir. My name is Bhubaneswar, first year student. My question to the panel is how forward integration is challenging in last mile delivery of the e-commerce, and how can we leverage the full load capacity of the truck in accordance with during the return trip or empty haulage of the vehicle during delivery to the customers.
It's a very challenging problem that most of the transporters today have. If you start reacting with the transporters in the market, you will always try and understand that getting return loads once you take FTL, that is full truckload, across to long routes across, let's say, from Bhubaneswar into Mumbai or Bhubaneswar into Lucknow or Gurgaon, etc. Getting return loads is always a very big challenge. Therefore, what you try and do is either plan your strategies in such a way that you elongate your time period and wait for a couple of days or wait for 3 to 4 days and ensure that your vehicle goes full and take the load across. Otherwise, it's going to become economically unviable. At the same time, the load for a PTL is pretty easy because PTLs are basically used to deliver the cargo to a hub where a consolidation can occur. This consolidation will then, from the hub, be loaded on an FTL vehicle going on a long route. Thereby, you are able to cater both for the PTL as well as the FTL. So, transportation across distribution needs to be planned very, very strategically and in such a way that while delivery timelines are not affected, the revenues also do not really end up suffering a big loss.
Due to paucity of time, we'll take only 2 more questions.
Yeah, when the question is coming up, see, there are 2 broad trade-offs in supply chain. I mean, when I say supply chain, forward as well as reverse. One is the cost part of it, cost or price of the service, and other is the responsiveness, how fast. So, you have to find a suitable balance. If you wait for the return full truck load, then the truck has 2 ways. Otherwise, you come back empty, you come back faster, take a forward load again, then something else will happen.
So to find a balance between these two, cost, lowering or not so important versus responsiveness or time.
Hi sir, I'm Varsha. First of all, thanks to all the speakers for such valuable insights. And my question is to Mr. Partha sir. You have talked about blockchain in agro, and I just wonder how pharma industries are also one such field where we can implement blockchain. What is your opinion about the implementing blockchain in counter-production of counterfeit drugs? Counterfeit drugs.
To be very honest, I'm not from pharma. I'm yet to venture and learn into the pharma industry. But I can tell you my last 1 year of experience to agro supply chain. That's from the farmers to the finished products. We are yet to do the blockchain side of it. But I know there are people in Maharashtra who are doing absolutely brilliant job in terms of using blockchain. One for the quality, second for the financial transactions, because it actually goes into multiple links before it reaches the consumer and the money starts flowing back. Because if you see the whole chain, there is a credit which keeps on happening at every stage. Most of the time the farmer doesn't get his money immediately the moment he sells it to a consolidator. He is only promised once it is sold, then I will give you the money. So to create those assurances, you actually do a traceability track as well as an assurance. I do not know how many of you have heard about DNB, Dun and Bradstreet. Okay, I see one hand. So Dun and Bradstreet, I'm just giving a parlance, a different kind of an analogy to it. When we do vendor onboarding on any organization, we always look at for enrolling a sustainable partner. We always say that your financials has to be vetted by Dun and Bradstreet, and they have to give a certificate. It's a third-party agency who actually evaluates your previous 3 to 5 years of balance sheet, looks at the sustainability, looks at your growth trajectory, looks at your innovation, looks at everything, and then gives us a report and a ranking, which actually gives us a, you can say, a measurement to understand whether I should actually shake hands with this guy, because I am putting so much effort and belief in onboarding a vendor. I do not know whether tomorrow he is going to die. So I need to have a sustainable vendor. Similarly, in pharma, like you talked about counterfeiting. Absolutely right, because blockchain is something where you are actually having a traceability. Suppose an intermediary of a pharma, somebody who is making paracetamol, way in Hyderabad or in Nashik or in Pune somewhere. So in blockchain, it will be tagged from where he has actually got his input, and the guy who has supplied him input from where, which assured source he has got this material. So that once it is certified by blockchain, you are rest assured that your material is absolutely on blockchain. That's how it actually counters your counterfeiting when you start using. That's how I think blockchain started in financial sector to reduce the fraud per se, so that you have stamps, assurance, traceability at every end of it. But yes, I agree, in agribusiness, it's very difficult, because I was just talking to Shiva this morning. I am actually doing a consulting project for a company, Zuari Industries, and for them it is for sugar ethanol business. And the catchment area from where they pick up sugar cane is approximately 60,000 hectares. 1 hectare is how many square kilometers? 1,000. Okay, so 60,000 hectares of land which produces 340 lakh quintals of sugarcane. Okay, now what is the ambiguity? The mill, the sugar mill, doesn't own a single inch of that land. He doesn't own the farmers. He doesn't invest in his, whether the seeds or fertilizers or anything, yet he wants the best price. but price is decided by the government as minimum support price, which is by weight, not by quantity. Okay, so what you need to do? You need to really look at every step. What is the kind of micronutrients he is actually putting at the right time of the weather? What kind of irrigation he is doing? When is he sowing and planting his seeds? All this needs to be on a data platform. Do you feel 100% sampling is possible? Not possible. Then you come back and start doing a representative sampling plan, which is itself a very engineering by itself. How do you decide such a vast land having so many different kinds of soil, upland, lowland, flooded land, this land, having different outputs? So in these kind of scenarios, where you have so much of variability, I am not able to project for the next season what kind of sugar recovery I am going to have. So what my role was actually to implement a digitization tool. I did make the tool, but I actually told them, number one, with what are the factors which reduces your sugar recovery. So which is actually from harvest, the moment you cut the cane to the crushing line, it has to be before 72 hours. And the farthest farm is approximately about 50 kilometers away from the mill. So we started having exactly what Shiva does in terms of having a map layer, having GPS, having all those trucks in that very God forbidden place, geotag, having tracking machines, everything, and then using Power BI online to check what is the frame happening in terms of squeezing that cut to crush, cutting the cane to crushing the cane. We need to squeeze the tank. And then started doing sampling in the field also. Because you do not know whatever he is cutting, whether it is going to come to your mill or some other mill. So when you start doing these blockchains, you start creating an assurance framework in the whole link. Just by closing your eyes, you know, okay, fine, I have Mr. X who is already on the blockchain, right? So whatever I get, I know he is going to give me some assured product. So it starts actually reducing the counterfeiting. Currently, for the sugar industry, the biggest problem is even the farm is mine, because I have to pay, it's a regulated business, I have to pay based on the weight. At certain point of time, they actually infuse the rotten canes inside and they give the fresh canes to the other unregulated sugar mills, where they may have lesser payouts, but they get instantaneous payments. When there is a marriage in the home, a farmer feels, why should I have to wait 15 days? So he goes to them and they check the quality. So how do you now break this process? It's only through these kind of models and tools, which actually reduces your counterfeit. Hope I am able to give some analogy because pharma is not my field. Sorry.
Let me add one couple more points. Anyone's done torrents over here? Downloaded torrents? That's okay. So torrents, fancy name is blockchain. Okay. Torrent is an open ledger where you are uploading or downloading files and everyone is seeing it essentially. But there is a node and everything. Blockchain fundamentally uses the same technology. Now you implement that for banking. So if I'm sending goods from here to Dubai, I say that I put in a system where I'm sending this good and this guy owes me. So it's available for everyone. And so then and so it's an ecosystem. Okay, blockchain works when the ecosystem works. So exactly this the concept is same. It is basic blockchain technology is torrent essentially. Okay, and the other thing that's coming up now, especially farming, is drone photography. So like in the US, it's very common now. Even in India, is happening. You can take a picture of the place. Like you send it out. So the banks are doing it. HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank will do it. Not the company. They are underwriting and the crop insurance is taken. The insurance companies are doing it. So they'll send an agency which will go and take a picture of the area. And then run it through machine learning algorithm and do a image processing. See how much has the sugarcane grown in the last 9 years? What is the status? All these things didn't happen before. Okay, but now I can finance it. That I can actually take a loan and also buy capital. So all these things are coming and all that becomes coming on a digital platform like what we were talking about. So credit becomes more accessible, and those are new businesses that don't exist today. It's coming up in a big way.
Answering your question about pharma, from whatever information and knowledge that I have, there's
there's something apart from this blockchain, something called as the maker checker at both the ends. That is at the manufacturing side as also at the receiving side. The receiving, when I say, is the storage point. Both the places, you have immediate labeling, and then the maker and the checker are two different people who have been given identical responsibilities of ensuring that the quality and the product is genuine. These data, which is done for various types of medicines of every batch with the expiry dates confirmed, are then stored as blockchain into the cloud. And thereafter, the same data is then processed across the warehouses or the storage centers, where again the people are assigned jobs of making and checking. These are two different people who work who do not coordinate with each other, who work in isolation and ensure that you do not have a counterfeit product. So while the systems and softwares are being used, there are also concepts like labeling, SKUs, batch codes, maker checker process, etc. These are so-called controlling measures which are being used in quality control as well as to ensure that you do not have such fake products.
Yeah, good that some of the part of the questions are already covered because that food track load, etc. My question is to all of you, like this is actually a matter to think. Instead of all these things and the landscape that Mr. Partha already has talked about, we have a lot of opportunity within the country, and that's why I was just waiting because the question is not about last mile or reverse policy as such, but about trade logistics. If you see the report developed by the World Bank, 2023, 90-page report, I think, and you know, like quite institutionalized report, like all the recommendations are there. They, you know, they are not very much hopeful about, I mean, giving an entry to India to the global logistics part because they have something called LPI, Logistics Performance Index, which has a lot of components and where they marked India very poor, right? They rated India very poor. Now, of course, for the last mile, it doesn't matter. But how you deal, like 2 points here. One is that mathematical tool that you talked about. Will it give better accuracy? And secondly, the culture, the trust, etc. Because I mean, I will not put it in that way, but they say that the Indian businesses or the businessmen who are doing trying to enter into global market, they are very substandard as compared to a lot of countries' businessmen, and that's why they are not giving any entry. And obviously, some other concepts are there that I am not elaborating here. So that is the question. What do you think? Like number one, should we enter into the global market by raising our standard and commitment, trust, quality? Or another thing is that if not, then should we apply those concepts what they are suggesting at least into the last point, so that we can have at least a domestic business better, right?
Well, I would like to take a pot shot with your question. There are two different aspects which you have touched base on. One is the international logistics, wherein the global logistics performance index comes into offering. The second is the domestic logistics. So we keep domestic logistics aside because we have enough hours and hours are spent on domestic logistics, the issues, the problems, and how do we go ahead, what is happening, what is the trend, etc. Let's focus on international logistics because that is the key issue which we are saying that the foreign companies or the nations do not like to give too much to India. I beg to oppose. There may be different reports being generated from different quarters. There may be different statements coming from different leaders of various countries. But let's face the brass tack. The key question is, India had a very poor ranking about a couple of years or even 3 years back in the global logistics ranking, which works actually on all the factors plus a mathematical index. And it has now reached where from 167 and 138 and then into the hundreds now. But the key question is, what are we doing to overcome more and more such barriers? The biggest problem was the logistics cost being faced by the multinational companies in India. Remember, friends, we are the service providers to many of the foreign companies. The shipping was a doldrums in India because a ship used to come It used to be turned around in 14 days, 10 days, 7 days, 8 days. But today, most of the ports like JNPT, like your Mundra, like down south, Chennai, etc., are turning around ships in 1.5 to 2 days. So we have definitely improved on that. The second part of are the roads. The roads today, believe me, are like you travel anywhere in Europe or for that matter anywhere in the US. Of course, maybe not 100% in comparison, but still a lot was desired earlier, but now it has come up of age. So that has improved. And then the multimodal freight transportation system. One used to place an order in Los Angeles and forget as to when the cargo is going to reach here in Bhubaneswar, one never knew. But that's not the situation now. We know for sure who's to be contacted and how it is to be contacted. The ships now more or less follow a definite routine and they're able to predict, and they are also able to work out alternatives. If your vessel is not available, I have an alternative available to ship my goods out. So with all these changes happening, it's going to be a long, arduous task. You know for sure the global positioning or the global ranking also works on a lot of geopolitical scenarios which keep cropping up time and again. Therefore, it's going to be a long task, but for sure, I can say firmly that in the next 5 years, remember, India is going to be a changed ground for the logistics activities, both domestic and international.
I think we can follow it more, can it goes? Okay.
Thank you everyone for keeping this session interactive, and thank you to all the speakers and moderators for the insightful answers. Now, we would like to call upon our moderator for the event, Professor Arun K. Paul sir, to present his concluding remark and deliver the
Well, being in full-time teaching profession for about 12 years, it's very difficult to speak without a PPT, but I tried. So, firstly, Mr. Raju mentioned quite a bit of terms. I don't know, milkman is one term that I picked up, and it's as a milkman would possibly plan his delivery and then coming back. So that's how the term comes in. So, and that's used in triangular. That's part of our advanced discussion, the supply chain as a subject that I'll be term 5. Digitalization and digitization, though there are similar terms, but possibly in a classroom environment we take it slightly differently. Digitalization is the bigger scope, and digitization is, of course, using technologies for lower level activities, but doesn't matter. So that's a big enabler in terms of enhancing experience in the last mile delivery, and of course that's being used in other parts of the supply chain in terms of raw material traceability or work in progress and subsequently. Mr. Jagannathan mentioned about a lot of Japanese tools and techniques. I don't know how many have seen Maruti Suzuki model as Zen. Zen was a car model. Zen means better or making things better. I mean, Kai means slowly, regularly, continuously. So Kaizen is the kind of continuous small improvement. Compared to innovation, which is typically radical, big change that happens. But big change don't happen every day. So there has to be a structured way of capturing and implementing it. I tell you a very small story. When Suzuki and Maruti came together, Maruti was a very big change in the automotive industry compared to ambassadors or premier community you may not have seen. And Tata Steel, the organization that I was working for that time, somehow got an order because those steel, automotive-based steel that Suzuki was using are very different. They're really clean. Indian producers were not able to make those kind of clean steels because unclean steel is corrosion and other things. So Tata Steel got a trial order of few tons of those automotive grade steels because our R&D people have not worked out and we get a trial. So our MD and the MD and the top bosses of Tata houses and all got together and then there was a trial order. And initially it was almost daily monitored by the managing director of us in that point of time. But somehow it was shipped on time, but ship got somehow delayed in the process. And the shipment that reached there got delayed by few weeks. And we got a huge penalty on that. And then India was almost 3 days and people were supposed to lose job on that occasion. That's why the shipment was delayed. It so happened that we saw 3 days and all, and then we got another travel. And now this travel was absolutely on dot. And we sent them a few days before. We made sure that the ship reaches the destination, from its destination, a few days before. And then again there's a big uproar, huge penalty charge on us. Now we are being surprised that this is no, you have given us 2 days before, and we are not ready. You have to hire a warehouse, we have a space, and then you have to pay the penalty for it. So all I'm saying is last month delivery is promised time, it will be tricky one, you have to be careful with it. Mr. Singh also mentioned a lot of technology and issuing a class of operations management. We think while doing this, you might someday land in that position. So please pay attention to those kind of subjects. Never know when the knowledge comes to your use. Data and the supply chain is very interesting. Data as a company and the supply chain is very, very interesting. And of course, Zipper and all are right. 10 minutes delivery and all that options there we have. But again, as a responsible citizen, you have to be choose whether 10 minutes delivery is required. Do I need to, somebody mentioned, 2 live schedule to have those 10 minutes delivery? Or I, as a responsible citizen, can plan better and then use public transport or use other things to make whole thing as a more sustainable environment. Mr. Parkov is a known speaker. He has been with us for many business like this, and it's very interesting to hear his experience with agri business and all, and it's always interesting. So with this, I sort of do a formal vote of thanks. I don't know if that's my responsibility. So thank you, sir, for spending your time and coming all the way to Bhubaneswar. It's a very nice place and a nice campus that we have here. We have become a university for 10 years now, and we have a school of sustainability, a different school of sustainability, which offers management as well as semi-management and technical courses on bachelor and master's degree on sustainability. Just for information. XOPS, the team XOPS is, of course, all that is happening because of them. So, thank you very much and congratulations. I hope you have learned from your spelling mistakes here and there. It might have happened and you improve next time on. The students who are here, hope you have some good learning session. And it's again most of the first year students with some of the jargons are not very comfortable. Don't worry, it will be happening in subsequent knowledge. And the staff and other members who are really working on the background to make it successful. Thank you very much. And I think that's all from my end. And you know, some time that we have to close.
As a token of gratitude, we would now like to honor our esteemed guest with the memento. I request our honorable guest to accept this memento as a token of our delight and respect. Now I would like to invite Professor Francis Castellino, Associate Dean, Career Advisory Service, to present a token of memento to Mr. Raju and Mr. Devendra. Now I would like to request Professor Arvind Professor to present a token of memento to Mr. Parkov. Now I would like to request Sandeep sir, Area Coordinator, OM and DS Asia, to present token of memento to Mr. Shivali sir and our moderator, Arun Paul sir. Thank you everyone. Now we would like to call upon ESOP's coordinator, Kundan Lenga, to deliver the final vote of thanks.
A very good afternoon to one and all. So, ladies and gentlemen, supply chain is like nature. It is all around us. I, Kundan Lenga, stand before you today with immense gratitude and admiration for the brilliant minds that have graced Ashwamedh with their presence. On behalf of the XOPS team, I extend my heartfelt thanks to our esteemed dignitaries who are not just industry leaders but beacons of inspiration for all of us. Your insightful perspectives, invaluable experiences has illuminated our minds and broadened our horizons. We are deeply appreciative of the time and effort you all have invested in sharing your expertise with us. Your passion for the subject matter was palpable, and your willingness to engage with us on a personal level has left an indelible mark on our hearts and minds. We are profoundly grateful for the guidance you have provided, which will undoubtedly shape our future endeavors. I would also like to express our gratitude to Professor Arun Paul sir to accept our request to be the moderator for the event. We thank our esteemed faculty members, staff for being our pillar of support. We thank Ramesh and his team for their assistance. Coming to our student bodies, first we would like to thank Career Advisory Services for their support in facilitating Ashwamedh. We extend our thanks to Team Gymnastics and Team Excellence for coming our event. Lastly but not the least, we thank all our students for being present at the event, for being the cooperation in getting the session engaging as well as enriching. In closing, I want to assure that your insights will be carried forward, and by each student present here today, with this, we come to a close of Ashwamedh 23. Thank you.
Now, I would like to request the students to remain seated as our guests take their leave.